Welcome everybody to our latest session of the Restoration of Cariele. As usual, do a quick recap of what occurred last week and then we will get started. So team, last week you guys were still in the underground area of the Stone Crown Mountains. As a reminder, you guys have been in the under the Stone Crown Mountains for quite a period of time at this point. You had most recently defeated and on Shaylin, rescued the dwarves, and then were retreating away, deciding exactly what to do next. Some of you were really concerned about the dangers posed by the remaining Orogs, as well as just other creepy crawlies that might be down here in the underground tunnels, and thought trying to last the night here might be too dangerous. So essentially what you did is you took the dwarves over to the ghost troll's room or lair, and once you got there, you allowed the dwarves about an hour or so to catch their breath. This was after you spent a little bit of time in the room with the gold and did like a sweep through there, collecting items like mining picks and other odds and ends that had been knocked aside as the Orogs had previously attacked. Once that occurred, I believe it was Cerilia took a short rest then and was able to recuperate some of her wounds. Then you guys made your way to the ghost troll room. The dwarves then spent some time here recuperating their own wounds. So after you guys spent a couple of hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours total here after the events of the battle with the Orogs, you then decided then rather than trying to sleep here through the night, you wanted to try to get out of this area and get back to the surface soon. So you had a couple of options that were presented to you. Primarily it was go back through the Grell chamber, which you guys had come through once, and it had been a very difficult, hard-fought battle. There was some tactics that the Grell was using. The terrain was to its advantage, so you knew that was going to be quite risky. Your other option was to go back through the Orogs and essentially break the deal that you had just made with them, kill all the Orogs, and then go that way. So with those two options in mind, you guys decided to go through the Grell chamber, thinking that perhaps with the wounds you had dealt to it, maybe it wouldn't be there any longer. Unfortunately, that did not turn out to be the case. So as you guys made your way into the Grell chamber, you guys we're trying to do this strategy of have some of the player characters go in the front and then let all the dwarves remain behind. And then once the path was determined to be clear, then call all the dwarves forward. What this actually did, however, though, was divide your team up into like a long chain as opposed to a big group. And then once part of the chain was past the elevated terrain and part of the chain was behind it, is when the Grell then sprung its trap. So using the elevation to its advantage, it tried to use a couple of attacks, ranged attacks from up there. You guys were then kind of in a bit of a panic, not sure exactly what to do here. You were trying to take the fight to the Grell as best you could, but also were trying to just get the dwarves out of there as quickly as you could. And eventually the Grell took advantage of this chaos, dropping its fog cloud in the middle and essentially cutting your team into like two halves, while it then tried to use its advantage of that fog cloud to pick you guys apart. We did have some magics being used by you guys to try to fight back against the Grell and to turn things back to your, tied back to your side kind of thing. Primarily, we had Dian using a spell to destroy some of the fog. Turned out the Grell was able to conjure a fog cloud more than once, and so eventually he was able to just summon it back, which unfortunately put you right back in the same position. Some of you guys also readied spells or attacks so that when the Grell, made itself visible across the ledge of the higher terrain, you would try to strike it. That was mostly ineffectual, mainly just due to bad rolls. And then you eventually found yourself in this very deadly funnel, the fatal funnel as we call it, where you guys had to make a decision what to do, and ultimately you decided to try to power through, try to get everybody through the fog, and hope that you would survive getting to the other side. During this, the Grell was striking at different members of the team, and as near the end of the battle, we had a couple of player characters getting really close to the fog and then disengaging and backing off. Dian was there trying to guard the retreat of his friends and the dwarves, and then tried to step away and was grabbed by the Grell, who pulled him into the fog, Once he was into the fog, he was very difficult to track down as nobody really knew specifically where he was. This Grell obviously can fly. The tunnel's pretty large, so it could be in many different places. The fog cloud was massive, so everything was really working against you guys at this point. But ultimately, you decided that there was no realistic way of getting Dean back. So you kind of let that take its course while you guys got up to the other side, and then tried to put some distance between you and the Grell. That then was successful, of course, with Dean unfortunately behind and with all likelihood having been killed by the Grell, because even though there was a sanctuary spell on him, thanks to Celine, at most that would last a minute. It would require a lot of good luck. So very unlikely odds that Dean would have survived that event. With you guys then pushing on, getting everybody else besides Dean free, you guys made your way west out of the Grell's lair, and then followed the original path that you took to originally get here, which was essentially go back to the split in the path, one heading towards the Orogs and the underground structure, and then one going back towards the glow fungus, which is what the first thing you encountered when you entered these underground tunnels. So you guys made your way back to the glow fungus, didn't notice anything particularly out of the ordinary, and eventually made your way to the exit. Once you guys were exited from the tunnels, you realized that it was late in the day. You decided to put a little bit of space between you and the tunnels, though you did leave a marker a ways away to try to indicate where the location of the tunnels is, because as you'll likely recall, it was very difficult to spot the location, the actual entrance under the ground, as this was something that Dean just randomly was his focused eye somehow picked this out, which seemed very, very unlikely. So you guys decided to leave a marker a little bit a ways away, then knowing, hey, once we see this marker, it's approximately X distance that way. So while that won't be a perfect recollection of how to get back in, it at least won't draw attention for others to find the entrance either. So with this done, you guys then made your way to a nearby copse of trees, right about like 3/4 of a mile away or something like that. It wasn't real far, but not right next to the forest either. Once you got to that area, you guys kind of spread around trying to rest and relax. It wasn't too long, however, before you were able to spot a rider essentially coming from the west to the east. Long story short, after you guys decided to reach out, particularly Serena, call out to this individual, get their attention, you learned that this rider was actually a knight in service of Halen. Her name was Dame Cassandra, and she seemed to have a very positive and uplifting spirit and wanted to speak with you all. Primarily, she mentioned that she had come this way because she wanted to speak to the Count to address an issue with the mercenaries that are currently positioned in Melivienne. Once Serena revealed herself as being the general, the knight then revealed these issues directly to Serena and essentially said, like, hey, this is something you should take care of. And Serena said that she would. So over the course of the next day, you guys traveled with Dame Cassandra back towards Carolinian. The rest of the trip was uneventful. You made it back to the castle. You guys found that things were primarily as you left them, and you went for a much-deserved rest. We kind of went into a little bit of fast track of time there for at least a few days as you guys discussed some of your overall issues that you would like to accomplish before the next session of council. But we only skipped a couple of days because you guys also quickly made plans that you wanted to head back to the mountains and enter that entrance once again to try to perhaps recover Dean's remains, as well as make the gold mine a reality, like get that up and running. So team, that's my quick recollection of what we did last session. Is there anything I missed anybody would like to add?
Yeah, Dean famously casted the conjure animals and got a polar bear, but it turned out not to be a flying polar bear, so it was ineffective, as it were.
That is true. Yeah, take inspiration. One of the rare polar bears without wings. Anybody else have anything to add?
We committed to our downtime actions, although I think time-wise they haven't technically resolved yet, but we all rolled and we were all successful in our various things. And by the next session of Council of Saline, we'll know Old Andu, assuming we survive. our next excursion.
Yes, indeed. Right. Yeah, we had really good stretch of luck on downtime actions. So just like you said, those will resolve shortly before shortly before the next session of council. So yeah, good job rolling there, and good reminder to go ahead and take inspiration as well, Saline. All right. If there is nothing else, then team, let's go ahead and get you guys back into it. So again, I know we went a little loosey goosey with the time frame. So I'm assuming only a couple of days have passed since you guys have left the mountains string there, the Stone Crown Mountains. You guys are back in Carolinian. Serena has already made her way to Belavienne. Again, that's a pretty short trip. Ran into the mercenaries there, had a brief conversation with them, and then also returned back to Carolinian. So that whole trip probably only took her, a day, say 8 hours, 4 there, 4 back kind of deal. So we'll assume that is resolved. But other than that, you guys have been inside Carolinian. You've had 2 official long rests. So if any of you guys still have, let's say, weariness on you, you'll want to make sure to remove that, because you would have been able to shake off that at least a couple of points. So I don't think anybody had any more than that. So yeah, with that resolved, we'll pick up and assume you guys are back in Carolinian.
Could I add one more thing? I'm not sure if you said this or not, but we met um, the leader of like the guards or whatever of Melavienne. Did you say that?
Yes, Serena went and spoke with the mercenaries to tell them to
Oh
kind of
yeah.
get into shape. Yes.
And we met that woman that told us that they were being uh like a
Yes.
problem.
Yep. Dame
Okay.
Cassandra. Yep. Yeah, I mentioned that. Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
No worries. All right, so guys, I'm going to put us over into the city of Carolinian. Now, as far as timing goes here, again, we're playing a little bit fast and loose with this. However, my understanding is that you guys informed Dean's family, his wife, probably not his son because he's too young, but at least his wife, about his falling, and then a funeral was planned. Is that something, I guess, and I'm going to get a little meta here, is that something you guys want to play out, or do we want to summarize kind of the events of the funeral?
Summarize is good with me.
Yeah, I'm okay with summarize.
Okay.
I'll add something here, Adam. So if you guys have been talking with Dean's family, you probably are surprised, but they are not. They're obviously sad, but it's expected for the Cathbad to take the brunt, and it's a very dangerous job, and they're very stoic in their reactions. Grateful for your kind words, but they understand the risks, and they're just brave, strong, resilient family.
Okay, appreciate that additional color. So yeah, as you guys were at the funeral and kind of saw the events going down, I'm sure you would have met several different people there showing their respects, primarily Dean's family, anybody that sort of came from his original druidic group there, maybe some individuals who have met him in his work as a counselor, though it's not been a really long time being a counselor, so probably fewer than those. But I believe there was one also very interesting figure at that funeral. Brian, would you like to explain Gordon and maybe what he was doing at the funeral? Any kind of moments that perhaps would have stuck out to our player characters?
Yeah, so Gordon is from the Church of Sarah. I don't know if there is a church there, Adam, but he's a follower of Sarah, and he is a cleric. Although he's not your typical one, he does seem very outgoing. He spent a lot of time with Belle and Dash and the family, and he would meet you guys. And one of the things that would stand out is Gordon's optimism and his. It's not what you think a cleric would be like, but he's somebody who is emboldened by the family's response to Dean's death, and that, hey, you live life, you roll the dice, you're strong in your convictions, and do your best, and so, life happens. And he would say, notably, from what I understand with Dean is that, there's a choice. Do you disengage or do you just leave? You guys explained the battle, and he chose not to. And would that really matter? But he lived his life, and he knew he had to go down this path, and he lived it to his fullest. And the family loves his sacrifice, and he will live on forever. And I am so empowered by that story. I would like to continue his legacy. Would be one of Gordon's standout things that you guys would remember.
Okay, excellent. Again, appreciate that additional information as well. So I would say Gordon then probably becomes a little bit of he's kind of popping up in different places, maybe even unexpectedly so. Like you would be, walking about town, taking care of some of your various personal activities, and you would spot him there. Maybe you would be in the castle and you would spot him kind of with some paperwork walking to and fro. It seems sort of like he's, popping up in odd places that you hadn't seen previously. You maybe start to wonder, why exactly his involvement here is. It's not quite clear at the moment, but you're certainly seeing more of him. With those original facts taken care of, I will go ahead and deal out everybody a card as usual. All right, go ahead and take a moment to review your card. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so with that complete, then team, you're kind of here in Carolinian. Like I say, it's only been a couple of days. So as far as your group gathered, obviously common places that you might have been would be like the castle. You might be stopping out at an inn. For East, I'm going to assume you guys are kind of all out in the market square at the moment. Maybe some of you needed to pick up some odds and ends. You wanted to go, purchase some supplies, that kind of a thing. And you've kind of just, whether planned or just by happenstance, find yourself on this little shopping trip. Once you're finished with your odds and ends shopping, you guys decide that it's probably best to head back to the castle to make preparations, because you intended to head back to the area underneath the Stone Crown Mountains, and you want to make sure that you're ready to go. Obviously, there's only the 5 of you at this point. You don't have a 6th member. The expedition certainly has no interest in going back until everything is fully cleared out, and then of course they will live up to their previously agreed to arrangement to actually work the mine there and try to extract the gold. But presumably, if there is any other odds or ends that you guys would like to take care of while you're in the city, you certainly can. If not, I will move us to the castle.
Did we get the time-wise? Have we gotten the letter from Moraid yet?
I will say that you got it probably at the end of the previous day. So you received it, you're kind of digesting the information, but it was received quite late in the day, at which point you guys are kind of made plans, but you woke up in the morning, went out to do these kind of shopping. But yes, you have received it. It's probably certainly on your mind.
Hey, Adam, it's not going to really matter anything, but I am putting the Orog Warhorn as a trophy in my room. And I am going to be buying a short bow as well, just to let you know, in case all of a sudden you're like, where in the hell did Bill get that short bow? Well, that's what happened.
Sure, yeah, no problem. So we can assume you've put the Warhorn in your room the previous day, so you don't have it on your person at the moment. But yeah, while you're out here in the town, you can certainly buy a short bow. That is no issue.
Yeah, and also the party will see that I'll come back with a little trinket around my neck and everything of a dwarven deity, just because it seems to fit his personality.
Is that to keep the fish people away?
You know, this the traveling god and of dwarves and the protector and everything. So it just kind of seems to fit. I mean, we're traveling all the time, and I'm trying to protect your ass. And yeah, if it keeps the fish people away, that's fine too.
Yeah, what's going on with them? Have they been causing trouble since we've been gone? Wasn't there some group? I guess it wasn't them, but it was some group was causing trouble around town, right?
Well, I saw them in a parade, so to speak, before. A couple of those guys are kind of like clerics or monks or something like that. But I don't know about them causing troubles or anything. I don't remember that.
Well, I think I got everything I need. I got this nice loot I've been practicing. I learned on it, and um, Adam, we can assume we took a long rest, right?
Yes, you'd have taken a couple of them since you've been back in Carilia.
Do that to get my spell slots.
All right, so if there's no other odds and ends, I will assume you guys are making your way back to the castle to, continue your duties as counselor and start planning when exactly you're going to head back to the tunnels. So as you guys make your way to the castle, so you're kind of ascending. As you'll remember, the castle is displayed in our image here at the top of the hill. So you can think of this as a path that sort of climbs. You guys climb this path and eventually find yourself at the front of the castle, as you've done so several times in the past. You are noticing that once you have arrived here, however, there seems to be a larger guard presence than what you're used to. You're noticing more guards seemingly inside the courtyard of the castle, as well as more guards at the gates. And you notice as they see you start to approaching, one of the guards looks up and he says, halt just a moment. And you see he starts looking through a scrap of paper. Seems like a piece of parchment that he's folded up many times. And then he looks over to the guard next to him and then looks back. You see that guard kind of gives him a nod. And he says, you are the counselors. Is that correct?
Yeah. What are you, new here?
I am, yes. I have information. We would like that your group, the counselors, please follow me as I escort you to an audience.
Very well.
Okay, so you guys are escorted into the castle grounds. You will get essentially up to the castle gates. You are escorted inside. Once again, you notice a far larger guard presence than what you would normally expect here. Usually you spot a lot of, servants kind of moving back, doing their duties, that kind of thing. But right now it seems like primarily there are soldiers or guardsmen inside the castle. As this single guardsman escorts you to the south side of the castle, this is not the typical area that you think of as being the throne room. It's the area where, when they have really big feasts and things, that's where they usually host people. There's a lot of space for, large tables, chairs, that kind of thing. As you guys are escorted this way, once again, you notice a very heavy guard presence, and you can't really see past this wall of guards, in fact, but there is a large chair that has been positioned here. It kind of resembles a throne, but it is not ornate in any way. It looks like a wooden chair. It's fairly decent size and perhaps well carved on a quick glance, but certainly no jewels or gold or anything like that is ostentatious. It just looks, maybe well crafted. You notice this guardsman is sort of escorting you to where the tables are. You notice that this chamber is empty besides the guardsman and now yourselves. All right.
So, what are we doing here? Who are we meeting with? Vin? Is Count Vin here?
You notice he looks towards you and he says, all will be explained in a moment. However, I have been asked to secure any weapons and any spell focuses or component pouches from you all. If you will please turn those over now. And you see he has motioned with his hand towards this large table.
Asked by who?
Everything will be explained to you. We're simply trying to secure this area and ensure that there is no chance of any danger. None of your belongings will be taken out of this room. We're not trying to hide them or take them from you. We're just trying to make sure there's no accidents or any issues. I'm sure you understand security is very important here.
Yeah, I understand. I was the one that tried to make more guards be on post here, but I didn't hire you guys.
You notice he kind of looks at you, but doesn't respond or shake his head in any way. He just looks back down towards the table and he says, "Please, if you will begin taking your weapons and placing them here and spell components, pouches, or spell focuses."
Blix will look at the other group party members and see what they all think.
I mean, Salient thinks this is highly irregular. Like, we've been in and out in the castle like a bunch of different times, and we've never had to do something like this. But yeah, when she sees Tavard commit, she'll put her stuff down.
Tavar keeps checking all of his pockets, going, now let's see, what else do I got? Are you supposed to take my hands too? Because, them my primary weapons.
He shakes his head back and forth. That will not be necessary, Master Dwarf.
Okay, cool.
All right, so as he starts collecting things from people, is there anybody that's not turning over what he's requested or is trying to hide anything?
I am going to. I'm going to keep DOS loot on me and not turn that over. Even though it can be used as spellcasting focus, I don't think anyone would know that.
Okay.
But all my other weapons and whatnot, I will put on the table.
Okay, just quick FYI, Serena, I'm going to remove your title from your character name. You can certainly add that to your sheet or add it as like a part of your avatar display, but it does mess with macros, so I'm going to remove that just so that the macros work. Okay, so as you guys are setting these things down, Serena, you're trying to hide a dart, so please go ahead and give me a blind check. This is essentially going to be a sleight of hand check as you're trying to conceal a dart on your person. Okay, so as you're doing this, you're taking everything out, everything on the table. Everybody else is doing the same. You kind of cup a dart, and you'll notice that the guardsman who's looking at you seems to notice this right away, and he will say, "Excuse me, ma'am, it looks like you forgot that one that accidentally got caught in your bracer. Perhaps you should set that one on the table as well."
I'll look at her with a grin.
And I believe Serena's player is having some technical issues, so okay, so you say that, and you see he looks towards you and he says, "I am not one of your soldiers, but please just follow the process and all will be explained to you very shortly." And to confirm, the rest of the folks, no one is holding anything back. I'm assuming everybody has put down all weapons and spell focuses / component pouches. Okay, and as Serena gives up that last dart, you notice he essentially puts all of these things into a bag. Yeah, like what armor or backpacks, that kind of stuff, he's not interested in. It's literally just weapons and spell focus. Yeah, so like the loot, he doesn't care at all about that. He has all of this stuff in like a pretty large linen bag, and you see where you guys are standing, he puts this at one end of the table, and you guys are kind of lined up at the other end of the table. So it's basically like 20 feet from you, you could say. But you notice he stands very close to this after he takes out this small length of rope and essentially just ties the bag closed. He then stands by it, essentially like he is guarding it. So as you guys are standing here in this area, you notice that there is a bit of like a commotion that seems to be coming from the way that you guys just came from, as you hear the sound of movement, and you notice that some more guards arrive, and they kind of walk in, blocking your view for a moment. And you notice then that some of the first guards then kind of split and like open a path to that large chair. And you can see a figure, but it's difficult to make out through all of these different guardsmen who actually it is that is approaching this chair. Throw in a quick perception check for all of you. Yeah, it is quite difficult to see this, but Serena, you do notice a flash of red hair moving by, and you're kind of trying to eye who exactly that hair belongs to when you notice this individual climbs up this like little elevated part and then sits in the seat proper. As she does that, you recognize Milena. And you notice she looks down towards you all. She's probably a good 40 feet from you all at this point. And you see as she sits in the chair, she looks like she is dressed very, I will say, commonly. She doesn't have anything particularly fancy upon her. She is wearing like a leather jerkin. And you can see she has what looks to be like good like riding boots, perhaps. You also notice that there is, as the guardsmen's kind of settle, they're not as formation as a wall. They're still kind of there, but they're not like in super protective mode at this point. You notice that there is a bow alongside her chair, the big like kind of throne-like chair that it looks like has recently been set there. You see she looks out towards you and she says, "I imagine you have many questions, but first allow me to introduce myself. I am Milena Gladinel. I have previously informed you that I was called Milena Grimm, as I'm sure some of you know, but my true surname is Gladinel, as I am my father's daughter and the true heir of Cariele." I will take a moment to let that set in, because I am sure you are quite confused.
What?
You see she nods towards you. She says, "Yes, I am not surprised that you are confused in any way, but, well, your friend Vin, he is the second child of Steel Gladinel. I was the first. Well, actually, there was a third, but I must confess I don't know much about the twins. I know about your friend and, well, his passing of his brother, I suppose my half-brother, in fact. But nonetheless, I was the firstborn and the true heir of the throne. And that is why I came here, to evaluate things, see how things were going, and to gauge how this Vin was ruling. And I must say I found myself quite disappointed." You notice some of the guardsmen here kind of just standing. They are like watching you guys. You can get the impression that they're kind of wondering if perhaps you guys are getting ready to make some kind of movement, but they haven't drawn weapons or anything like that. They look very tense and like very prepared. She continues and she says, "You have acted as counselors towards the throne, towards my half brother, and given him good counsel from what I understand. But his time has passed on the throne. We have had a great conversation, in fact, and once I revealed to him who I really was and why I had arrived here, needless to say, we had a sibling conversation, and once the dust settled, it had become quite clear that it was my turn to rule and not his. I think I am much more suited to it, and I think you will find that I am easy to work with, and most importantly, I will be able to take on the tough challenges that Cariele faces. I'm sure you have many questions, and I don't mean to withhold information of this sort from you, so please ask your questions, and I will answer what I can."
Where is Count
Now,
Vin?
thank you. Same question.
Count Vin is currently in a tower with his mother. She actually recognized me when she spotted me, and she grew a bit concerned. So once I discovered the two of them having a conversation, and he seemingly did not want to believe the truth, but his mother confirmed it. I asked them to remain in a tower for the time being while some of the other events transpire here and are taken care of. I will say that they are not in any danger, because I have no intention to harm them, but I don't know for sure how much longer they will be staying here either. They may decide to go elsewhere.
I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything like that, so please don't take it as such, because you could be who you say you are, you could not be who you say you are, but we just got back and all, and here it is you are. You're sitting in a chair after telling us you were somebody else. So, not sure how to put this delicately. How do we know you ain't lying to us?
Well, unfortunately, there's not a way that I can prove it to you, but needless to say, blood knows blood, and the land knows blood. Someone couldn't simply come in here and take over the realm from the proper ruler without some really underhanded means, unless they were the true heir of the land to begin with. Because that is the claim my blood has on this land, it made it much easier to take this position. You can decide whether you believe me or not, but I hope what will be somewhat helpful is that, as I said, I have heard from individuals around here and speaking with them that you have actually done quite good work as your counsel, and I'm sure that I will need much advice in the days ahead as we face many challenges, I am sure that you are aware. I am still learning this land once again as I knew it from my childhood, but I am learning the current threats, the current challenges that face us, and there are many, as I've said. If you will have it, I would like you to remain on your seats as counselors.
I thought you said you were disappointed.
I am disappointed in Vin, but I'm not disappointed in your counsel. Vin, as I am sure you know, was always very impetuous, is what I've been able to gather from those that I've spoken to. Very hot-headed and unable to make careful decisions. He seemed to simply react. What I would say is one of my father's more worst traits. My father had so many great traits as well, but he was very much a hothead and stubborn. And from what I've heard, that is a good part of the reason why he lost his life. So I don't intend to follow that same error, and I'm sure that you noticed those qualities in Vin. Am I mistaken?
Have you completed the ceremony?
Those kind of details we can get into at a later point. Needless to say, this is happening. I understand you're a bit shocked by this, and my guards here mean no harm to you. And if you decide that you don't want to have any part in this, obviously you are free to leave, and we're not going to stop you in any way. In fact, we will thank you for your service and send you on with a small gift if you will have it. But as I said, there are many challenges that this nation will face, and the challenges are things that I won't be able to overcome myself, and I could really use a group like yourself who's already proven themselves, both on the field and in the council chambers, to have what it takes.
What does the guild think of this?
Well, I have a good relationship with the guild, you might say. In fact, I've worked with Miele and some of her counterparts before these events took place. She, in fact, is part of the reason why I'm here. But I don't want to give you the wrong impression. I have no intention of simply being a figurehead for the guild. I see the guild as a partner. And as you obviously know, the guild holds quite a bit of sway here. They have a lot of control in various areas. I think if we work with them, as opposed to trying to fight against them, we can bring Cariele into a glorious future.
Where have you been?
Before being here in Cariele, I was to the north in the Reuric lands, living as a true Reuric woman does, much like my father did before he became a ruler.
Well, if you know what you're getting into, this place has a lot of problems. So hopefully you're not of the faint of heart.
You notice she sort of smiles a bit and she says, "Oh, that is not something that you will have to worry about. Trust when I say that I was very much aware of some of the difficulties that this was going to include in taking over these responsibilities, but nonetheless, I owe it to this land, and this is my birthright."
Do we need to make this decision immediately?
If you wish to speak amongst yourselves before making your decision, I am okay with that. You can have the area to the rear of the room to speak if you wish. If you can do it quickly, that would be appreciated. If you're choosing not to do this, I will have to make other arrangements quite quickly, of course. So I would certainly prefer a quick answer if that is not asking too much.
It doesn't
Um,
have to be immediately, but can we see Vin, not as agents of the state, but as his friends? Whatever shortcomings he may have had in ruling the kingdom, he is the one who united us all. So I would prefer to hear the truth from him.
I'm afraid that will not be possible. You see, he has not taken this very well, and, well, he has threatened my life and threatened the lives of anybody that has aided me in this regard, so I
I bet.
can't allow others to speak with him, to give him any kind of a fancy that he has a way of overcoming this or fighting out. As you know, as I've already said, if he found a toothpick, he would probably then try to use that to kill everybody around him, not believing in the slightest that he could possibly lose. We don't want to give him any kind of hope or false hope. We simply want to allow him to calm down, which may take several months.
I'm not a big fan of imprisoning the former rulers.
As distasteful as it may seem, the more common way of disposing of former rulers is killing them. You see, once a ruler has been in a throne and has ruled, there will always be some individuals who will think of them as the true heir or the true ruler of the nation. I'm taking quite a bit of a risk, even letting him live, even though his reign was very short. Obviously, there are some, maybe even some of you count yourselves among these individuals who would fight for him or fight on his behalf. And as I said, I don't wish to see him killed. He is my own blood, even if he is only a half sibling. But things will be better in Cariele without him, I must say.
Did you know you had another brother?
I have heard some stories, but I must say, well, without getting too personal, as you can imagine, I'm not the biggest fan of my father's second wife, so I tried not to pay too much attention to them.
Why didn't you step forward when Vin took the throne?
It was a very chaotic time. As you know, our uncle, my uncle, was the ruler here, and while Steele's blood ran through his veins, or the blood of the Steele line, you might say, did, seemingly, while maybe not perfect, at least it was someone that was close to my father and could have some air of legitimacy to ruling the throne. Once he was replaced, it all happened very quickly. I don't need to tell you, as I understand you were all here, but it was like one day my uncle was the ruler, and the next day this Vin was. And it came to quite a shock, and I didn't hear about it right away, of course. As I said, I was in the Reuric lands, so it took me some time to be informed of what actually occurred here. And then I made my way down with my mercenary company. We had to ride down this way and break up into small groups so that we weren't triggered by any other rulers thinking that we were coming to attack them. So it's been a lot of riding and back paths and trails and tenting and roughing out and so forth before finally making it here, and then trying to gauge for myself Vin's character. And I must say, as I already indicated, it wasn't, if he would have been like my father and had those qualities, and he is somebody that I could have gotten behind, I might even have stepped beside him and assisted him. But it became all too clear just how he was acting, that he doesn't have the strength. He doesn't have the mentality to be able to be a ruler. It's a very difficult job. I've been a mercenary captain for several years now. I know what it takes to lead men. I know what it takes to lead them into war. I have the qualities that are needed to be a ruler, and this has been thrust upon me, and I will not see Cariele fail.
I would argue that it hasn't been thrust upon you. This is our childhood friend you're speaking of, and I would like to point out that no man or woman is perfect.
That is true. That is very true. But as I said, I can't see Cariele fall to ruin. And with him in the throne, it would have been a slow decline into ruin. Why do you think that Miele even gave him the throne in the first place? She thought that he would be easy to control. I will not be as easy to control. I will show that I have what it takes, the strength necessary to rule here. I will show that I am the ruler here and that Cariele has a great future.
Well, shall we discuss amongst ourselves?
Yes. Can you? We just need a sidebar real quick.
You
Team huddle.
see her like raise her hand to the back. So to give you an idea, in this room where she's at, there's a table at the far end of the room, which is about 75 feet away. The closest guard to that table is about 55 feet away. She has previously indicated you could use this table. Obviously, you'll still be in eyesight with her, but if you guys are speaking quietly, you don't think they're going to hear you. So that she has offered. If that seems like you guys aren't particularly interested in doing so, she will mention that she's happy to allow you to leave this immediate area and go to speak, but she doesn't want to give you your weapons and things back because you're just going to pop out and assuming pop back in. So, why go through all the hassle of taking them back and then take them off you again? So, your choice.
I think the little part of the room is fine.
Okay, then she says, yes, then go ahead and head there and have your discussion and let me know what it is that you have decided.
Teresa's going to go back there.
All right, so I will assume you guys have walked the distance past the tables and you find yourself at the far rear table. You notice that as you guys are walking, obviously you're not looking behind you immediately, but maybe glancing there on occasion. You don't see a whole lot of shift in the guards right away, but once you guys take seats at the table, you do notice that Milena seems to be speaking with a couple of guardsmen who are closer to her. So you can think of the guards in front of her. They kind of are creating like this wall almost. So it's like a block. But then there seems to be two other soldiers that are decked out a little bit differently in their attire that are closer to her. And she seems to be speaking with them at this point as you guys are in the rear of the room.
Serena mutters that she should be afraid.
I kind of like her, to be honest with you. She's got some hook spot to her.
Yeah. As much as we all liked Vin as a person, I feel like she might be right in her assessment.
This feels like treason.
Well, I mean, really, what do we have to decide? We have to decide, really, are we, going to try to break Vin out? I mean, I don't think that makes much sense. We're going to follow her. I mean, I'm beginning to kind of like this town, even though they're not exactly the nicest to me, but, seems like it's going pretty well, so.
And I know all you pretty well, I think, at this point. Besides you, Gordon.
Is
Are
he
you here?
or is it just the four of us?
Gordon is not here because he's not
Yeah.
involved in these conversations.
Hell no, we don't even know if we want him. F and G, Come on.
Yeah, he's been kind of annoying. Has anyone else seen him all over the place? It's like
Yeah,
an
I don't
orbiter.
trust him.
I'm like waving in the crowd. It's me,
Is he a follower of Halen?
No.
Sarah.
No, he's
Sarah.
dead to me. Dead to me.
He's too bright and cheerful, I
But-
heard, too. I mean, come on, he's always smiling and stuff. I mean, he ain't even drinking enough, and he's smiling at frickin' 7 in the morning, dumbass.
We're here to talk about Vin.
Yeah. Well, no. I want to talk about us remaining on the council. Because as I was saying, I know you all pretty well. And I know that you want what's best for the realm here. And that's not a given. So if some other people come into the council, maybe they won't have the best interests of the realm in heart. At the very least, we can help the realm if we stay on.
Change comes best from within. This is a very delicate situation. I know we all want to help Vin, but if we act rashly, we might just end up in a similar position. If we stay within Melena's confidants, we might be able to uh, guide her hand in a way that at least doesn't hurt him any more than necessary. I don't think it's a good idea to just go guns blazing and try to break him out of prison and then go on the run, because then what? We are drifters, home with no home to go back to. I mean, we'd be giving up any kind of potential political power we might have, any kind of ability we might have to help him. I think I'm leaning towards Blixel's idea. We stay on, we try to do what we can, and if we can help, Vin in the process, I think that's what's best for him.
At least he has his family. I'm very concerned about the status of mine.
We can talk about that later. I might have something I can do, but we need to resolve this situation first.
Is there some way we can find out if she wants to take down the guild too and wants to restore nature's rightful place in these lands? How do we say that professionally?
Well, she already indicated that she has a partnership with Miele, which is not ideal for us. But we may have to spend some time building up mutual trust with her before we disclose the behaviors of the guild that have brought us to this point. I certainly am not excited to work with them, given that she's the reason Bairn is dead. But she's had repeated deals with them. In fact, yes, a bird in my ear is reminding me that the first time we saw her was in a guild camp, and they were trying very hard not to reveal their connection.
Well, I assume it was their help is how she was able to take over this castle, but we can't. The most important thing to me is to honor Dean's legacy by taking down this nature-killing guild. Can we do that from inside?
I think we have a better chance of doing that from inside than without. We'd be 4 people with no allies and no resources aside from what we can carry on our backs.
Plus, I sort of like the title Copper Counselor.
I think that was derogatory, or intended as such.
No, I'm owning it now. I'm taking it back.
Okay.
Okay, if you guys don't want me to kill her, I won't kill her.
Well, let's just put a pin in it, all right? Keep it in your back pocket in case she turns out to be a maniac.
Got it.
All right. Well, it sounds like we're all in agreement. We'll change it from the inside.
Everybody put your hands in the middle. Go team, go.
Okay.
I ain't doing that, but sure.
Classic.
I'll put 2 hands in, one for you, Tabbert.
Thanks.
1, 2, 3, go.
Council. And I guess we go back to the main area.
Okay, you notice that as you guys start approaching this central area, she cuts off this conversation she was having with the guardsman closest to her, and she sits up proper once again, and she looks and she says, "Have you come to a decision?"
Yes, Countess, we have agreed to serve as your counsel and aid the people of this land.
I am very glad to hear that. A sense of continuity is important in this area. I look forward to working with you all, and I will allow you to get on with your duties. As we have already said, there is much that needs to be done. I have been filled in a little bit here and there on some of the things that you've already done, both through reading official documents as well as speaking with those around this area. Is your intention to be in the capital for the next foreseeable future, or are you planning to set out on another one of your outings soon?
I whisper over to these folks. I think we should tell her about the gold that we just found and the challenges there. That'll show good faith and all.
Ask her if she kept on our good buddy Lord T or whatever his name was.
Why don't you ask her?
Because I can't remember his name.
Lord
Tegan?
Tannen.
Or Tannen? Lord Tannen?
Tan
What of Lord Tannen, milady?
You notice she smiles slightly and she says, "Oh, quite an interesting individual. He is still around, if that's what you're asking. Have you found his services to be worthwhile? I noticed that there is quite a large budget line item for him. Have you found his services to be worth it?"
Has he been robbing us?
No, he just gets paid a lot, but yeah, now that you mentioned it, he hasn't really done all that much.
No, he was very helpful.
I think more importantly than just him being helpful is that we haven't found any reason not to trust him. I mean, I think that's kind of important when you have turnover, if you know what I mean.
He was indispensable in the transition. His insider knowledge helped us a great deal when we were getting established. I would be remiss to see him go.
She nods. "Well, then we shall keep him on. Perhaps at a later time, a few months down the road, we can discuss his salary once again, because I have a feeling this is a bit high for his position, but I will rely on your expertise to let me know if he is really delivering that much value."
Yeah, I was going to suggest a pay cut, but that's just me.
She inclines her head. "Excellent. Well, let me thank you for agreeing to continue in your roles as counselor. You'll find that I will do things a bit more officially, perhaps, than what Vin did, and that starts now. One of the things that I will ask you as counselors is to take an oath to the throne of Cariele. Essentially, what this means is you will agree to not harm the person that sits in this throne and is the true ruler of Cariele, and that you will do what is in your best efforts to aid the people and the nation of Cariele. That you will follow my instructions to the best of your ability, and in turn, I will promise not to ask any service of you that would be disreputable."
Does this mean no more late night, midnight meetings with beers on the balcony?
You can do what you wish. I'm not going to put any kind of restrictions on your personal time. I would just the intention here is that I believe oaths are important. And once somebody has sworn an oath not to do something, should they do it, they show themselves to lack all character. And I have then no regrets about dealing with them appropriately.
That sounds fair to me. One other thing, you did mention something about us possibly going on an excursion. We did have one planned. It is to benefit the realm and especially our coffers. I
And
don't want
avenge the
to.
death of a counselor.
Indeed, you may have noticed that Counselor Dean is not with us. It is directly related to that.
I see. Well, I certainly won't hold you back from those activities. In fact, if you're ready to swear your oath, there is another counselor who the Northern Reformed Church has asked if we could get him more involved in our activities, and I think fostering that relationship will be beneficial to all of us. So, if you're ready to swear the oath, I will bring in Gordon to swear the oath alongside you.
Oh, this guy?
Do you really feel it's in our best interest to have the church so intimately involved with council activities?
She nods. Yes, I do, in fact. You see, you can't take this position that the guild and the church aren't influential. They clearly are. The guild controls all economic activity in Cariele. The church controls all faith in Cariele. We have to make them our partners if we are going to succeed as a nation.
I gotta warn you, the guy the guild sent over is useless.
I don't know. Oh, you mean the guild representative? I see. Parnio, I believe I read. If that is the case, I'm sure we can arrange for somebody else, but let's have other conversations on that before we pull the trigger on anything in that regard.
Oh, I'm ready for the oath. And Blixel starts disrobing.
You notice she holds her hand up. She says, you don't need to take any of your clothes off. Allow me to bring Gordon in. Guardsman, please bring in Gordon. And you notice the guardman walks out, and then shortly later, he comes back with Gordon in front. Gordon, go ahead and describe what your character looks like.
All right. Go to. Remember, do I have a picture of him somewhere in bio?
It should be in your character sheet.
Yeah, there. Okay. Well, yeah, you'll see. He's a good-looking man. He's got got scale mail on. He has a shield that's probably on the table now. He definitely has an air about him, and he smiles quite well. And he'll walk in and give a smile and a little nod to you guys, and a similar with the Countess here as he steps in very respectfully. Yeah, I would say he's tall, probably six. I mean, not super tall, like 6'1", something like that, in good shape, parkour shape.
All right, excellent. He's got one of those faces that I'm having a hard time guessing an age. What would you say regular people would assume he is? Like 40?
Yeah, I would say he's late 30s.
Fair enough. Okay, so all right. So as Gordon walks in, escorted by this guardsman, Melena recites this oath. Again, the specifics are not really critical here, but it's much as she just said. You swear not to raise your hand against the true ruler of Cariele. You swear to work, your best to bring positive things forward for the people of Cariele. It's pretty basic. And then she also, in turn, assuming all of you guys swear this oath and nobody, resists or tries to, get around it, she will then accept your oath and she will say that she will swear to not ask you to do anything that would bring you dishonor.
I swear the oath.
All right.
Yep.
I swear.
I swear.
Okay, so I am assuming now that everybody has sworn this oath. She accepts this oath and she recites the words back to you all as well. And then she says, well, this is very good news. I am glad to see this. Gordon, I will leave you to speak with your fellow counselors. I believe they are actually discussing going on an excursion. And from what I understand from the church, you might have some skills that would be valuable in the field.
Excellent. Yes, my lady, I will do my best. And thank you for the opportunity, and I look at you guys.
I will
Yeah,
leave
well,
you to discuss things amongst yourselves then. I have my own duties to take care of as well. So if you'll remain here for just a moment, I will take my leave and then you are free to do what it is that you wish. If you have a question directly for me, I can't promise that I'll get to it right away, but I will leave. And you see, she points to this guardsman who's kind of in the corner. And while he's wearing armor and he's got a weapon and stuff, he has this like strange posture that you kind of get the impression he's more clerical, I should say administrative. I can't use clerical in D&D, but he's more like an administrative person than a true soldier. She kind of points over to him and she says, that is Guy, and Guy will be able to bring any of your questions to me if they are necessary. Otherwise, assume that, I trust that you will do what is needed for the realm. And you see with that, she sits up from the chair, standing at her full height. She grabs this bow from the side. You notice as she grabs onto this bow, there's like a little flicker of like a dark tendril, or perhaps dark red tendril on the bow itself for just a moment. You notice the guards then step forward, creating that wall again, blocking you guys from being able to get too close to her, where she steps down and exits the way you guys entered. You notice those two primary guards follow very close to her as she seems to travel up to the upper levels of the castle, presumably to maybe her bedroom or another location. But yeah, you guys are left to do what it is that you would like.
She didn't take our stuff, did she?
She did not. Remember, she never had it. It was just that guard. So once she is completely gone from the room and maybe like a couple of minutes have passed by, presumably she's gone to wherever she wanted to go and couldn't easily be interrupted, you'll notice the guardsman then undoes the rope on the bag and allows you all to retake your things.
I feel bad leaving her first week here without our counsel, but Lord Tannen will take good care of her.
Yeah, I can't say that was exactly how I thought things would be when we come back.
Yeah.
Surprise.
It's a good thing we didn't try to kill her that time, huh?
Maybe it's on us for having been gone.
Hey, Gordon, I got a question for you, buddy.
Yeah. What's up?
How are you at seeing in magical darkness?
Magical darkness. That's an odd question.
Yeah, we're going to a big cave where there's this creature that can seems to be able to cast darkness. We can't see him, and we're counting on you to be able to fight him off for us or help it out.
Well, that's good, my friend. Well, I heard about it, and the way you tell the story of how Dean fell and the couple days we spent together, and it's quite encouraging. Man, just the opportunity to go back alone is really worth it. To you guys can test fate one more time and maybe find Dean's body and bring it to rest. It's inspiring and a great opportunity, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I can't see in magical darkness. I don't know anyone who really does. Anyone here?
What about fog? You seeing
Oh,
fog?
fog. No. So sadly, I am, um, as fate would have it, a bit hindered with my human form, and yes, everyone else can see in darkness.
Well, we're just trying to find out how you're going to kill the. I mean, how you're going to help us kill that thing.
Well, I will help, my friend, for sure. But remember, if there's a slight chance and we roll the dice, we can do it. Keep that in mind. We have a chance.
Yeah, the dice
Can
didn't
be
roll too
done.
well for the last guy, but yeah, that's cool.
Look, we already have one cheerleader on the team, okay?
Who?
I shake my head at Blixel.
Blixo depends on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I like to stay positive, but
Yeah.
This group's getting too cheery for me.
Okay.
Do you, I turn to Gordon and I say, do you get any sort of whiffs of like seashore coming off of Tavern or?
He thinks I ate something fishy and I didn't. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know. It smells fine to me.
Stop
that
sniffing my hair.
Am I getting pranked right now? Oh, that's a good one, Serena. I
Let's
fell for
see
that.
if lasts. Well, I guess let's get out of this mutiny of a castle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very shocking news. I'm sorry to have you guys go through that.
Well, I mean, I think we got to make sure Vin's actually okay at some point. I know we
Yeah,
can't see him and we can't antagonize him or whatever, but there has to be some way to make sure that he's all right.
we should see if there's any workers in the building that are willing to find out through the grapevine.
I can check his social media. It takes a 3rd level spell slot, but I could do it. It's just a matter of are we planning to leave today or not? Because we might need all the power we can get if we're going back to that place.
He may not be in a mood to talk to anybody right now. I'm sure he's kind of pissed off, you know.
He would only get
Well,
25 words.
it'd be nice to know if he's alive, but it'd also be nice to know if our families are alive.
Yes, if you guys are willing to wait a day, such that we can rest in a place of safety, that I don't have to give up 2 fireballs, I can do both things.
All right. Sounds like a good deal, and we will go leave in the morning. How about that? Tomorrow morning.
We're still allowed to have our rooms, right? They're not kicking us out of the castle, are they? Because I didn't have a plan for that.
Let's ask Guy.
I kind of wanted to ask her if we got to keep our salary since she was talking about, taking down other people's salary. I didn't want to bring it up just in case.
Yeah, I can't believe you talked poor Lord Tannen into a pay cut, Blixel.
He gets paid a lot. Have you checked it? Do you know how much he's getting paid?
No, I don't remember.
He's getting the same as all of us together, isn't he?
I'm a cop. Money's no object.
Well, I mean, the coffers are not exactly overflowing right now, so until he starts bringing some serious value to the table, I think he might need to make a little bit less. I'm sorry. I'm just looking out for the realm.
I will remind you that he handled that whole giveaway situation off screen with no input from us and did very well.
I thought he was well worth his weight.
I don't know what the proper pay is. I'll let them deal with that. It's not my business. I don't care about somebody else's salary, just my own.
Finally, it'll be someone else's job to worry about that.
Yeah, HR don't like it when you start asking other people about their salaries,
It's actually perfectly legal, and anyone who says it isn't is.
Now
Anyway.
Milena can worry about it. Maybe we could procure some potions in our day of preparation.
Sure. I'm gonna keep doing my. I'm writing a one-man play, / musical, so I'll work on that while you guys do that stuff.
I'm busy that night.
Oh no, it's running multiple nights. Don't worry, you can. There'll be a spot for you.
I'm busy any night it's showing by coincidence.
I do have a couple daytime shows too.
I'm a busy guy.
All right. Well, I'll keep a seat open for you just in case your plans change.
I think it'll turn out very well, Blixel.
I think so too. I think I'm gonna write Dean in there.
R.I.P.
He's a good man, faithful husband and devout father. He's worth the kind words.
So Gordon, how are you in a tough spot? I mean, we're about to go out and try to find our friend's body and everything. I mean, can you handle yourself?
Well, you'll see him with armor and a shield. He has a dagger on his belt, and he just
doesn't mean you know how to use it.
He just twiggles his other hand and says, "I'm primarily trust in Sarah, and testing the fate of life, and mostly a protection type of person. I would guess you would probably see me as a good ally, supporting and all the efforts of the others in this group. Although I can do some bit of damage."
Ooh, could somebody who knows how to read do a little research on that thing that took him?
Maybe I could try. What specifically do you want to know? I think we learned quite a
How
bit
to
from
defeat it.
experience.
What can we do to defeat it? Every time that thing gets us, we get ourselves in a jam. How do we jam ourselves?
Well,
Yeah.
we hit it until it dies. But
Love it.
I mean, yes, there are countermeasures we can take. I mean, let's think about it, right? It was using the terrain to its advantage, the high ground. I think through this rest that we've had over the past couple of days, I might be able to do something about that. I can make two of you, probably Tavard and Serena, be able to float and fly at will. Uh,
I was going to ask if there was something that would help me climb.
I can probably do something like that too if I play a song on my lute here.
yes, but we also have to think about how it was able to turn itself invisible, irrespective of the fog. I don't have anything for that, but I believe you do, right? That fairy fire spell, we might need you concentrating on that to try to prevent it from escaping. Because if it turns itself invisible and runs away, we may not have a very good chance of catching it.
Very true. I'll try to fairy fire it if I'm able to see it. I'll try to get some fairy fire on there.
I have also, so the DM doesn't think I'm cheating, I have changed my cleric spells such to pick up the one that Dean used to help recover the fog. So, or not recover the fog, excuse me, dispel the fog. So I can do the same thing he did as well to give us an
What about
advantage.
any scrolls? Do you need any like scrolls or something? Any magic we may not have that we think we should bring with us?
Well, the last one I used didn't go so well. Gordon, are you able to bring people back from the dead?
Yes, that's quite my specialty actually, and I'll jiggle 300 gold pieces worth of diamonds in my pocket, ready to go.
It's your specialty? How many people die on your watch?
Well, I am with the Northern Reformed Church, and we do get some things that die. They have to pay really well, though. It's a very expensive service.
Do we have to pay if you do that for us? I mean, I guess I'll take it. I'd rather not be dead, but
Well, I already spent the money for these diamonds, but yeah, if you're so obliged and happy that I did it, maybe you can chip in for the next batch.
Could we bring back Dean?
That would have to be a much higher spell than I'm able to cast. It is possible, I think, if it's been 7 days or whatever.
Whoa. Magic is crazy.
Well, yeah,
Sometimes it squirts out of me unexpectedly.
Oh no.
Unfortunate phrasing, but yes, I think if we do our preparations for the day, we have a solid shot. If we somehow don't manage to kill this thing with full resources and a fresh level, we deserve to lose. So, I mean, let's get it done.
I will work on my spell list then. It seems like we're going after what's the name of this creature that we're avenging Dian's death on?
It was a particularly large specimen of a grell.
A foggy grapple monster.
I see.
yeah, it had
It
no
looked like
eyes, had a beak.
Looked like it was into philosophy.
It's gross.
All right, well, I'm gonna go. I got a couple stanzas to write. I will meet you all in the morning.
Shopping trip.
All right, guys. So it sounds like you're going to retire for the day and then, do some personal things and then get ready to go in the morning. Is there any other preparations you're wanting to take? Obviously, you guys heard information is very useful. Do you feel like you're equipped and can actually defeat this creature should you encounter it once again?
No.
Sounds like we need to fly, or at least question, guys. As he's like having an internal conversation. Do you remember any any audible words that this creature needed to say in order to cast this fog cloud or other things?
No, it uses psionic power, but there is a tell that happens when it casts. So, it's like a tingling sensation in your nerve endings or something that you can feel it beginning to cast something before it does.
There's no sense for me to prepare something that would make the area silent around him, so limit his spellcasting ability.
I don't think so. I never heard it say anything. Like she said, you just get a tingle. Sometimes in the nether regions.
No, that never happened to me. I think that might just be a you thing.
Oh. Maybe I'm just more magically attuned.
Maybe.
I gotta be honest with you, Gordon. I can swing real good, but I might not be the smartest one in the group. So if you guys have any directions on what I should do when we get in there.
You should be flying, and
Should we bring something for it to grapple? Because Ian was a good distraction.
Yeah, Gordon's standing right there.
Yeah.
FNG.
Poor Gordon.
Yeah, I'll make another one. I'm falling into a rut.
I think ideally nobody should be getting grabbed.
Well, how am I gonna get it? I gotta get within 10 feet of it. Oh, and also if we're gonna be here for another day, is there anything we can do to try to contact our families?
Yes, I will do that. I can reach out to Tegan and see if she will respond to my DMs. If she doesn't, it's a problem.
Okay. Yeah, or my mom. You could try to contact my mom as well if she doesn't.
Or my brother. Does Taverna have any family?
My family's not from around here.
Are they from Canada?
Hell no. We're on the other side of the mountains, though, if you know what I'm saying.
But you were in our town for a while, right?
Yeah, so his backstory was that it's been a while, but he was asked by his father to help a old adventuring partner of his, and then that guy Hanson, I think his name was passed away a few months prior to us departing.
Oh, must be nice to have a safe family.
Well, you got to remember he's the kind of dwarf that's on the other side of the mountains where the bad dwarves are. So.
Oh, does your kind not have families?
No, well, obviously he's got a grandfather and a father because he always talks about how he has their axe and their warhammer and everything like that. So
that's true.
And that was their departing gifts to see him and his father traveled over to this area or to go see Hanson and to get away from the chaos and everything from his dwarven city. And he stayed there for a few years, I think 3 years or something like that. But he didn't have any real family there. It was more one of those escape from the chaos kind of scenarios. So, you are his family.
And he's so lovable.
Yeah, whatever.
Serena sometimes is sarcastic.
Yeah, playing a dwarf can be fun. So.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right, so you guys have all the information you want to try to collect. You've got a plan for how you're going to defeat this creature on the way there. You got a way to go. Obviously, you got a day's travel, but you're feeling confident about your preparation. So we will assume you guys take care of some individual personal battles for the rest of the day. You're able to confirm that your rooms in the castle are still yours. They haven't been tampered with in any way. During this day, if you're kind of out and about, you do notice that the guard presence still is higher than what it was previously. It seems like the guards are not ones that you particularly remember from before. Not that you guys got really chummy with all of the guards, but you may have spotted, a few guards here and there and kind of recognize them by name, but you don't recognize any of these guards. You don't see Milena at any point. She seems as though wherever she's at, she's bunkered down there for the most part. So yeah, day passes by uneventfully. So you guys would get another long rest at that point. Wake up in the morning fully refreshed.
Yeah, I'm doing something before that long rest too.
Before the long rest, I want to cast the sending spell first on Tegan and then secondly on Vin. I know you don't want to speak for Vin, but she basically just wants to make sure he's alive and doesn't do anything stupid while we're trying to figure things out.
Okay, let's do Tegan first.
Yeah, so.
All right, that is the response that you get from Tegan. I'm going to say that you don't get a response from Vin. Why exactly that is, I'm not sure.
And this is me. I'm going to GM. I'm going to cast this spell before I go to bed, Adam. And I do have the component. I bought it. So I'm just going to get it just to you. And then I can whisper a specific question. And I'm referring to the guy who does the fog cloud.
Okay, you have your answer.
Okay.
So, and then just to clarify, so each time you cast that spell, you're deducting 25 gold, right?
Which spell consumes? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So just as a
then
reminder.
I will spend 25 right now and get it back.
Okay. Yeah. So you've done so, and was there any other last minute preparations on this day?
I will obviously just bring the group together and tell them that Tegan responded. They're all still alive, as far as she indicated. They're taking a long route to Shield Haven, wherever that is. They're getting assistance from some unidentified woman, as of yet unidentified woman, but they're okay.
Oh, good.
Oh, thank God. Also, I just want to grab some potions on this day, so I don't have to waste any more time tomorrow.
Are we talking just like potions of healing, or are you looking for like specialty potions?
Healing, greater healing, hill giant strength, fire breath, resistance, those kind of things.
Okay, so tracking those down might be a little bit more challenging. Let me see what you're able to find in the town. Okay, so the potions of healing, that's certainly not an issue to find those. I would say you can find up to 10 for purchase at, I think they're 50 gold pieces each. So you can find up to 10 purchase in town without any issue.
Okay.
Okay, as far as potions go, Okay, I heard you say giant strength. Go ahead and give me a blind check here, Serena, to represent your efforts in speaking with people and seeing if you can track this down somewhere in the city.
Oh shoot! I should have brought somebody charismatic with me.
Yeah, you're not sure if it's your, delightful personality or what it is, but man, people do not seem to react positively to you at all here, Serena. You're kind of asking around. You are able to find a shop that sells potions of greater healing. They actually have 3 that they could sell to you. However, the shopkeeper indicates that somebody else has already basically put these in reserve and will purchase them. He's willing to give them to you, but in order to do that, he'd have to break the agreement with the other person, which basically means he's going to have to charge you 500 gold pieces per potion.
Serena does not react well to that situation, so safe to say that does not get purchased.
Okay, fair enough. You're just having a really hard time. I would imagine after you speak to a couple of people, you're just like throwing your hands up in frustration because it does not seem like these folks are being helpful, or the shopkeepers, for whatever reason, they've got just something about your personality rubs them the wrong way, almost like maybe you have an abrasive personality, perhaps. Yeah, they just don't seem to react well.
I got money. What more do they want? I will next time bring someone with me when I go shopping. But I will purchase 5 potions of healing.
Okay, yep, you're able to do so. Okay, is there anything anybody else would like to do before we fast forward to the morning? Okay, hearing nothing, then I will assume you guys have made all of your preparations. You get in your long rest, waking up in the morning fully refreshed, and I'm assuming again you're heading basically the same route you took to get to the Stone Crown Mountains as before. You guys are setting out. I'm assuming you did all your preparations previously. So I guess I'll just give one last chance for anything last minute you're wanting to do before we start this travel.
Before we do that, were we relying on the expedition to like have like tents and stuff for us, or do we need to buy those real quick? Like, what's our status as far as camping supplies do we have?
You got, unless you have them on your person, the expedition certainly had a lot of that stuff, so it was kind of like you guys didn't have to worry too much about it. If you want those things, then you would have to have them on your person. What I will say is that you guys are in what essentially equivalates to fall right now. So the temperatures recently, like yesterday, was decently warm. So you think if you had a heavy blanket, you would be fine. But sometimes this time of year, the temperatures can be even freezing. It hasn't been recently. You're not sure what the future holds, obviously, but up to you what kind of preparations you'd like to take with that knowledge.
Yeah, I just have an explorer pack that I bought, so
Let's bring enough tents to cover 5 people, which I believe is 3.
I'm not bunking with Tavard.
Oh, that's good. You probably snore anyway.
Does anyone have tents already, or do we need to purchase them?
Just an explorer's pack.
I have a bedroll, but I don't have a tent.
Yeah, same here.
2-person tent is 2 gold pieces each.
All
I'll
right.
buy one and put it on my list.
I'll buy one, put it on my list.
Girls' slumber party, Celine? I'll give you a gold.
That's okay, I can cover it.
I'll join you girls, okay?
No.
You don't like the music? I'll play you some sweet. I can play white noise. All right, fine. I'll get my own tent.
All right, so we don't have to get super nitty gritty with these kind of details, but what I will say is that tents, if you look at the description, it says simple and portable canvas shelter. So for normal weather, I would say you're going to be fine. If you guys have what is typical weather for this time of year, a tent will be fine. You'll be inside. You'll also have a sleeping bag, no issue. If you should happen to get like freezing weather, you might suffer some inconveniences. You might, be making a check against weariness, that kind of thing. And I just want to make you guys aware of that because you've lived here for quite a while. So you know that just a tent alone is not like protection against wintry elements.
What would we need to do for that?
So I swear that there used to be something called like a winter blanket or something. But again, because we don't want to get too crazy nitty gritty in this kind of tracking, what I will say is that if you're willing to spend 10 gold per tent, you can buy what will essentially be a winter tent. Think of this as like a fur lined tent that would, keep you warm even in the winter.
I will do that. And Serena, I hate to be a bother, but I am not strong enough to carry this. Do you have the carrying capacity for a tent?
As long as you're buying.
I bought it. Money's already out of pocket.
No
Adam, I
problem.
just put it on mine. I just said upgraded tent.
I put fur on it for some reason, but I paid 10 gold to upgrade it to winter, maybe winter.
Sure. If everyone else is doing it, I'll do it too. I'll get a winter tent.
Chance favors the prepared, says Gordon.
Can't save it if you can't. Just covered.
You're so funny.
Sorry, we
Halen looks out for
gotta
me.
break a new guy in.
All right, so it sounds like you guys have most of what you need. Any other last minute things before we get started? All right, hearing nothing, then I am going to assume that you guys are ready to go and ready to depart. So I'm going to put you guys over on our map. You guys exit the town of Carolinian, or the city of Carolinian, I should say, making your way southeast back to the location that you've been just a handful of days ago. As you will remember, it was about a day's journey. Then you camped, you woke up, and then spent like another hour or two before you actually located the entrance into the tunnels. So you guys are able to travel once again about a full day's journey to get yourself to about here-ish as you're moving through the province of Mountain's Edge. Much like before, there doesn't seem to be any kind of inconveniences here. You guys have officially left on the 29th of the month. The weather today is actually warmer than normal. So the tents that you guys have brought, you feel like you really don't even need those as you start prepping, but you probably don't have that and a regular tent. So it's not going to harm you in any way to sleep in a warmer tent. I just imagine maybe you're like half in your sleeping bags because the tent's so warm by itself that you really don't need the full tent effect. As you guys go to sleep, posting watches, I presume, as normal. The watches pass by uneventfully so, without any issues. You wake up the following morning to very bad weather. It's actually still decently warm, but early in the morning, it starts to hail.
Oh no.
Is that pretty unusual for this area?
No, it's not completely unheard of, but it's rare in the fall. Like, again, this time of year, you would expect that, snow and hail usually doesn't start like more regularly for about another month or so. So for it to hit now, it certainly feels early in the year to get hail.
And it's been, in general, much colder than normal, right? The last bit of time.
Well, I would say last week, almost the full week was colder than normal. This week, it's been warmer than normal. So the weather has certainly been kind of flippy floppy lately.
Okay.
Unpredictable, because nature is unhappy. By the way, maybe we should do some hunting.
All right, so to give you an idea of what this means, when it's hailing, it's much harder to hear things because you're constantly hearing the sound of hail crashing into the ground. The hail here is not particularly large, so, again, it's warmer than freezing even early in the morning. Not by a lot, maybe it's like 40 degrees, so the hail is probably much larger as it's falling from the sky, but by the time it's getting to you guys, it's much more reasonably sized and it's not enough that it could actually harm you. But you think that if it was colder, the hail would probably be larger, and then you might actually take a little bit of damage if you were caught in a hailstorm like this. But yeah, right now, just minor inconvenience. It makes it harder to hear stuff nearby. Anything else special other than plunging forward and trying to find your entrance back into the tunnels?
I'll mention just as we're walking, Gordon will say like, "Hey, so the other night I was praying before I went to bed, and it came a pretty strong sense that silencing this creature that you guys described is not going to work. I feel like we need to focus on the flying ability and just kind of roll the dice and see what happens. But silence is not going to work. And I don't think blindness is either, because I heard he just flies through the fog, no problem. So he's probably has other abilities. But anyway, that's what I was thinking.
What? I didn't hear any
Yeah.
of that. It's hailing.
I told you that. You just get a tingle in your jiggly bits. That's how you know he's casting spells. But yeah, it doesn't look like it has eyes, so blinding it probably wouldn't work.
Yeah, no blind, no silence.
If only we could put like a bell on him. Like a cat.
Well, at some point, I mean, I have the ability to locate a creature, but I got to see him first, and and it's expensive. But hopefully, I don't need to locate him.
Hopefully, Blix's little Tinkerbell lights will work.
Yeah, I'll try. Sometimes they dodge out of the way of it, but I'll give it a shot.
So I don't like to put my finger on the scale too much, but just because you guys have struggled with this creature a couple of times, I did just throw a group arcana check. And what I will say is Blixel and Serena, surprisingly, the two of you, you're kind of wondering because you're thinking, well, this fog has been the most dangerous part, really, because once the fog is there, you can't see the creature. It can then move with impunity. So even if you guys are flying, if you can't see through the fog, that's going to be quite dangerous. Blixel, I'll say, because this also happens to be a bard spell, though I don't think that you have it, but being a bard, this just kind of triggers a thought to you that you've at least heard before, maybe in stories or talking to other people, that there is a spell known as Warding Wind. And essentially, it's a concentration spell that lasts up to 10 minutes, and it creates strong wind around you constantly for that 10 minutes that disperses fog, vapors, and gases. And you wonder if something like that maybe wouldn't be the ace up the sleeve to take away this creature's greatest asset.
Yeah, does anyone know this spell, Warding Wind?
We gotta get rid of the fog.
Or Gust of Wind, honestly, if anyone know that one. But I don't know either of those ones. But if you guys know that spell, maybe we can get rid of this fog.
No, and well, I did think about that, but the higher level spells that I took on level up seemed more generally applicable. I have some ability to counteract the fog, not entirely. The same thing Dian did, and also if I see it casting a spell, I might be able to shut that down. I'm not sure exactly if I can or not, since it's not using like verbal or somatic components, but maybe the tingling sensation would be enough to prime my reaction, so to speak, if I were to leave 2 islands untapped.
Yeah, I concentrated more on being closer to Avani. This you might call it a level up. I didn't really practice my bard stuff all that much.
Yeah, warding wind is not something I've heard of in my training.
Does anybody need a cloak in this hail? Because I have a couple of them, and one of them never gets dirty or in disrepair.
Yeah, I'll take one. Is it blue? Match my picture?
No, unfortunately, it's black and green spider web, but it's quite beautiful.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks. And I'm covering my head with my shield as the hail bounces off of it.
There you go.
All right, I'll put it on my sheet. I got a cloak. That never gets dirty.
All right, so it sounds like you guys are feeling confident with what you have to defeat this creature. So hopefully that was enough warnings that if you have a hard time, you guys won't be like, hey, how did we not see this come? But anyway, so yeah, you guys continue on the hour
Adam's
or
like-
two. I'm trying
We'll
to make
still
sure to...
complain.
Well, yeah, I kind of, yeah, okay. You travel for like the hour or two, and you're in the general vicinity. So I assume you're looking around for that marker that you previously left. I will allow a survival check here. Who would ever like to make it? If two people have it, you can team up to do this at advantage.
Hey, Adam, I also, as part of my background here, Outlander.
I
Are
have
you-
survival.
I'll make it
Right.
public. But anyway, I have the Wanderer, so.
Right. So notice there it says you can recall the general layout, right? So this is certainly not going to find like secret entrances into the mountains, but this gives you like, you're in the rough area. So I guess you could say I already gave you the benefit of that because you guys had just been here recently.
Okay, all right. That's what I was just wondering, if we had any form of advantage or anything like that on it.
I can help, or
Yeah.
do you want me to help?
Yep, sounds good. Can I make a blind check, Adam?
Sure. Yeah. Whoever wants to take the lead on survival. And I heard help, so that will be at advantage. Okay. So with that roll, Tavard, give me a D4.
This is how many days it takes us.
All right, you search for this marker, and it is hard to find. You remember the general layout of this area. Like, you've been wandering around here for about 3 hours, and eventually you find the marker, and you realize that, yeah, this thing is, the marker itself, you had, only made a small mark because you didn't want to do anything that was, like, massive, but you find the marker after about 3 hours or so. Now you realize that you're only... maybe 20 minutes away from the actual entrance. So surely finding that with this marker shouldn't be too challenging. Go ahead and give me another survival check there, Tavern.
Oh,
You need me
sure.
to take
let
the lead
me-
on this, Tavern?
All day.
Should I spend a bardic inspiration on him to make this? I don't know.
No, how bad can it be, folks? Bam!
All right, with that roll, Tavern, give me a D8.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. And
All
my
right.
survival's not all that bad either.
So with the marker, you're not that far away, so you start slowly making your way back to where you believe the entrance to be, but it is still tricky. It ends up taking you almost an hour to actually find it, even though the marker and the entrance were only about 20 minutes apart. But even though you walk there, it ends up taking 50 minutes actually to track this down. So again, you guys woke up in the morning, say 8 a.m. You spent about 2 more hours to get here, then 3 more hours to find the marker, and then about another hour to find the entrance. So you can assume it's right about noon at this point.
If we
All
ever
right.
find it, I wonder if we should have brought an army to guard the entrance to this place since it's full of gold.
I don't think we have an army at our disposal just yet, but we'll have some guards here to protect it after we clear it out.
Okay, anything other to doing that you guys are doing other than descending into the tunnel?
Not me. If it takes any more dice rolling.
No, you have found it. At least getting in. We'll take no more dice rolls.
I will
Well-
say something. As I was building the cleric, I was shocked that dark vision is not a cleric spell, and you think like that would be a spiritual revelation to see in darkness. I thought it would be an easy call.
Yeah, I found
to
out
have in the
how
list.
It's probably-
how limited it was. Yeah.
It's probably associated with
That's gonna give
certain
you-
clerical domains, I would bet. Like if you look at maybe the light domain or one of those domains probably grants it, but a baseline spell, yeah, it's not really clerical in nature when you think about it.
So what do you got, Gordon? Are you going to be able to see in the dark, or are you a liability?
I'm a liability. I gotta light up my shield. I'm gonna light up a rock and hold it in my hand, and or light the shield up. But I need a free hand to cast the spells I got, so it's gonna be my shield. I'll be a liability.
I'll take the lead heading into the cave.
Yes, team meeting. If the creature sees us flying right away, we're going to tip our hand too soon. So I think what we should do is get close. I can cast the fly spell on the two of you, but then we walk in, right? And then we take it by surprise so it doesn't immediately turn itself invisible when it springs its trap again. Assuming it's even there. If it's wandered off to go shopping or something, we're going to be kind of embarrassed.
Maybe
But
we
we
should
can
have brought
reevaluate.
maybe we should have brought like a goat with us or something. Just let the goat walk in. But challenges for another day.
Didn't you say Dean had a cloak that gave people dark vision? Interesting.
Oh, are you trying to reclaim his magic item for you? That's a
Yes, I
little
want
selfish.
Dean's cloak.
That's a little bit selfish, don't you think?
You're the new guy, buddy.
I know. I
Enjoy your spiderweb cloak. I like
It's
it.
very nice. It's very nice, of course.
All right, so it sounds like you guys are plunging into the tunnels. So as you descend with Serena in the lead, you find yourself getting into these familiar tunnels. Most of you can see in the dark, but Gordon used some magic to light up your shield, which casts this sort of eerie glow here underneath the mountain range. So I'll put you guys over in the tunnels. But as you arrive and start scoping things out, remembering having just been here somewhat recently, we are halfway through our session, so let's go ahead and break here for our 15-minute break, folks.
See you guys in a few.
Word.
All right, folks, we're on the second half of our session here. Team, you have just entered the tunnels underneath the Stone Crown Mountains and find yourself, for most of you at least, in a familiar area that you've been before. Gordon, this is obviously new to you. However, with the light off of your shield, you are able to discern this very rocky tunnel. You can see that it is what you would presume to be a natural tunnel. The walls and the floor are somewhat jagged. You can see there are areas where it's flat and no issues. There's other areas where the terrain just kind of, changes by, sometimes inches, sometimes a foot here or there. It's very, lopsided. When you're walking through here, it would be no issue, but if you were, say, running away in the heat of a combat or something, it's always possible you could trip on the uneven terrain or run into some other unfortunate incidents. But for right now, nothing gives you immediate concern. Team, you don't have Dwally's map any longer, but I will say with Tavard's Wanderer feed, he has a general recollection of this area. What path is it that you are trying to take?
And chalk marks we said at the beginning when we entered in, but I don't know if those still apply.
You don't see one right here. The team will likely recall that the first chalk mark was made once you guys got to like the glow fungus, because there was no other ways to go at that point, so it didn't really make sense. All right, so I'm assuming you guys are moving towards the glow fungus then. So yeah, you guys take this first route, and sure enough, find yourself back in this chamber where there is this bioluminescent growth in the area. You can see it is giving off light, much like it did before. It has sort of this a little bit of an eerie quality to it, because this light is not a like the light that is coming off of Gordon's shield is more of this bright luminescence. This is more of like a yellowish kind of bioluminescence, and just has a different feel to the light. But you guys have seen this once before, so you pass through, travel the area up to the first split. So once you get to the split, you guys will recall that if you head to the west, that is where you first encounter the Orogs. And if you head to the east, that will lead towards the Grell Chamber.
Okay, hold up, guys. Right here. I'm worried. I want to be far enough away from the Grell Chamber. Is it nearby? Is it just around the corner?
No, it's still a distance away.
All right. I'm gonna start muttering some incantations as I hold my hands up in the air and bow my head, and I'm gonna cast this.
It's
Yeah, it's going to fancy. It's going to you, Serena, and it's going to go to Tavard, and it's going to go to Blixel.
Okay, sweet.
You just feel just energizing energy, and then I wave my hands and say, "There, now the odds should be more in our favor."
Thanks, newbie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Get out of my light. I don't want to be a distraction. Go on, go on, go on.
Your light won't matter. It sees regardless.
Yeah, but okay, I'm a liability as you put it. So go ahead.
I will. We're not there yet, but when we're about a minute away, we might have to back off when we spot the ledge just to make sure. My intent is to cast Fly on you and Tavard, Serena, the two of you, to get up there and start smacking it around.
Thanks.
I'll do my best to tilt the odds in our favor. We can do this.
There's no way I can add that +5 to my AC temporarily, is there?
That's HP, not AC. On your character token, probably the easiest thing to do is just increase the green bubble by 5. I know it says that increases your current and maximum, but for all intents and purposes, that probably won't matter. If you want to increase your current, that should be fine.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I misread it. Thank you.
Okay, so it sounds like the preparations that you wanted to make are complete, and now you are simply moving forward.
Until we spot the edge of the map, basically. I know it might be hard because of the curvature, but when we're getting close, I want to back off and cast Fly on those two. It lasts for 10 minutes, I believe.
Okay, so you follow this tunnel, and your vision is 60 feet now with dark vision. So I will say that once you're about 60 feet from the first ledge, you spot it, and you realize that, yeah, there's that ledge.
All right, so I will ask to back up several hundred feet just to try to make sure it doesn't hear us. And then I will go ahead and upcast Fly on these two, Tavard and Serena.
All right, go
See
ahead
this
and burn that slot.
And if it's not here, well, then I look the fool. But that's okay. I'm willing to gamble. I feel lucky. And I will of course be staying in the back to try to avoid taking damage, as otherwise losing concentration on this would be disastrous.
Tavert, should we try to get in there as fast as we can?
Yes, let's go do it.
Okay, I'll be, in the middle.
I think I'd like to fly in as fast as I can so that potentially I could surprise it.
Okay, so I heard several hundred feet back, so I'm assuming you're about, say, 600 feet away at this point. You guys are going to fly top speed, which would be 120 feet. You and Tavern to try to get there as quickly as possible.
Well, hang on. We can move up closer now. I just wanted to back off so that it wouldn't hear the spell casting. We can move up, and then when we get close, they can dash in if that's what they want to do. That's fine with me.
All right, so at what distance away, Serena, would you like to start your dash forward, hoping that you surprise the creature?
What do you think, Tavern?
Well, as soon as I mean, this spell only lasts a minute, right?
10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Okay.
200 feet.
Yeah, that's fine.
200?
I think the rest of us should be close enough to help close the distance, because otherwise there's just the two of you in there. I say like 60 feet.
Okay.
As soon as you see the ledge, we're together, and then you guys can break off if that's what you'd like to do.
I like that plan.
Sounds good.
Why don't we always listen to Slim?
I don't know, she says.
All right, so you move from the several hundred feet away to about 60 feet away. I'm going to say that takes about a minute, so you've got about 9 minutes left on your fly. So you're 60 feet off map, I'm going to say, and you can see the edge of that ledge.
Let's go, team, go. I'm going to fly for stealth purposes.
Yep, I'm gonna try to fly to try to see if we can get on that ledge. Now I know there's many ledges and stuff, but we got to try one anyway. So.
Okay, so give me an idea. Are you flying high enough that you'd be able to see on the ledge right now, meaning you're at least 10 feet up in the air?
Well, I want to kind of come in where I'm next to the ledge so they don't see me too far away. So like if I'm 5 feet, then I'll shoot up, kind of thing.
All right, so you're trying to basically fly along the ground, and then once you get next to the ledge, pop up.
Yeah, kind of like they do on Top Gun. Yep.
Okay. Serena, are you following that same plan?
Sure.
Okay, so the two of you then fly in. So that would be 60 feet to get yourselves to the ledge, and then essentially dash to pop up over the top of the ledge. Is that fair?
Yeah, that sounds good. Theater of the mind. So.
All right, so I'm going to assume both of you have zoomed in. As you're flying through the air, you pop up, and now you can clearly see this entire ledge, and you see no signs of the creature. So the rest of the team, which really is Celine, Blixel, Gordon, are you guys rushing in at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
When I notice there's no creature, then I'll wave them in.
Okay, so I'm going to put all of you guys on the map. For turn purposes, you guys essentially have taken your actions to move and to dash, right? So this is where you would be. We're not in turn order, so it doesn't really matter at this point, but this is when you spot that there's nothing on the ledge. So based on the fact that, well, I guess Tavern and Serena, you tell me, what are you doing? I'm sorry, Serena, say that one more time. No, I think we lost you, Serena.
You're turning green, but we can't hear you.
All right, while she's working on that, Tavern, what would you like to do?
All right, so which ones are ledges, Adam? I know this here was, right?
Yes, yep. So I'm assuming you've flown up, and I'll even put you up here so you can actually see the ledge. So you've popped over the top. You look across the ledge, you see no signs of the creature.
Are these ledges as well, or are they just? I know
that's
that
just a rock wall.
Okay, all right. And where was the other ledges at?
So the next ledge that you recall is south through the tunnel.
All right, well, that's the direction I would be going.
Yeah, okay, so I'll move you back down to the ground level. Feel free to move yourself.
And if I remember right, this was a ledge?
Nope, that's a rock wall. I will tell you when you spot a ledge. Rest of the team,
Right.
you can feel free to move as well. Again, we're not in turn order, so as long as you're not moving massive distances at once, I'm okay with it.
I'm assuming Serena would come with me.
I think that's probably a fair assumption.
And I'm
How about now?
staying.
Yep, now we can hear you,
There she
Serena.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, I do follow.
All right, and the ledge, if I remember right, is about 20 feet, Adam. Is that accurate?
The next ledge was, yes, a little bit more than, or a little bit less than 20 feet.
All right, I'm gonna try to stay like 5 feet lower of it, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to try to pop up on that ledge.
All right, so you haven't encountered the ledge quite yet. You to your recollection, is still further to your south.
Yeah,
You
waiting
got
for the rest of the party. Yeah.
all right, and so you guys are kind of figuring out how exactly to move. I'm gonna assume you got about 8 minutes left on fly.
Is there anything that Selena could do as a former hunter to help her attempt to find the creature?
I think you just misnamed yourself. That's an interesting one. I guess unless you have a special ability or something that you're thinking of, do you mean just like general knowledge?
Yeah, just like hunting skills, tracking.
I would say that your hunting skills would be mostly for like, deer, elk, that kind of thing. This kind of creature, because it's so alien to you, it doesn't walk on the ground, it flies. It's kind of hard to know even what to look for.
True.
Again, I'm not going to move until I see more of the party members because I don't want to split up too much.
Fair enough, and I'm roughly tracking time since we're not in turn order.
Is Gordon there? He is. Okay.
Isn't that a ledge to their left?
It is not. All right, so you guys get back down to the area where you encountered this really horrific creature and the darkness was dropped. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that previous darkness up from the fog. Okay, so Serena, as you move a bit south there, you're flying low, so to hopefully get the drop on this creature, you notice the lip of the ledge to your south.
And I'm going to pop up on that, Adam.
All right, so you fly up above to get to here on top of the ledge, scanning around quickly. You see no signs of the creature, but you do notice a lot of debris and I will say scattered belongings to the southwest.
Was this here a ledge as well, or was it just this area here where
That
we're
is
at?
just a rock wall.
All right, I'm going to come down here. I'll worry about the other stuff later. And can I get... I'm going to get off the ledge because there's nothing up here, right? So, okay.
Is the debris body?
You can't really tell from down there, Blixel.
Hey, you guys see a body up there?
I'm
No,
not
just
answering.
belongings.
I'm not answering because I want to try to sneak up on this guy if we can.
I feel like he's not here, so I respond to Blixel.
Okay, so we're probably at this point maybe 5 minutes or so left on fly.
Collect the belongings. They might be Dean's stuff, and then we can keep looking.
Can I collect everything and fly it down to them?
Sure, yeah. So you go off into the corner where you saw these belongings. You descend here, Serena, to start kind of scanning through them and collecting what it is that you can collect. You notice that there is a lot of destroyed stuff here. It is torn and tattered in pieces. You notice pieces of the robe of eyes scattered all over here. You notice pieces of clothing that Dian previously was wearing scattered all over here. You also can make out some bones, not a full like skeleton, but it looks like, unfortunately, Dian was likely devoured and his body just, kind of destroyed in the process and his belongings scattered. Go ahead and give me a blind check here, Serena. Okay, so yeah, you can certainly make out some specific items. You'll notice like a spear. You find that there is a damaged flute. You can see a hunting trap off in a corner. There is some other odds and ends, but it looks like much of this has been destroyed.
If I can find a piece of clothing large enough, I'd like to pick up any bones and wrap them up in the cloth.
Okay, yep, you're able to do so. That's going to take you a little bit of time, though, as you're, taking care of those things up above. How about anybody else specific? Anything you're doing?
Adam, from here, can I see if anything else is a ledge from my angle? I'm just nervous about going forward more.
There are no other ledges that you can see in your line of sight there, Tavern.
And was this also a ledge on this other side, or is this rock?
That is a rock wall.
Okay. Well, we gotta hurry. The spell won't last forever, and I can't do it again. Or at least not on both of you.
I definitely wouldn't want to take so long that I can't fly back down, so I'd like to move quickly if I can move on.
Sure, yeah. If you're just collecting a couple of bones and that's all you want to do, then I'm going to say that I'll just take you about a minute, and then you fly off the side of the ledge. Tavern, you do notice another ledge to your southwest. However, this one is pretty short. It's only about 5 feet off the ground.
I will say that I'll take a couple shreds of the robe to prove that it's destroyed.
Okay, yep, you could have done that.
But yeah, any like broken equipment, I'm just gonna leave up there.
Adam, do we remember anything else that was a ledge or anything previously?
I don't think you do. No, you're trying to center where you're at the moment, where you came from. The first time you fought the creature, you were coming from north to south. The second time, you were coming from like east to west. You don't recall there being other ledges.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's here. We could. It was here more than once, so this might be a place that it stays occasionally. We could try to wait for it, but it would spot us if we did that.
No, let's pick a direction. I'm just going to go this way because, well, it's a direction. I want to try to use up that.
Keep seeing if you can find it deeper in.
Well, I want to take advantage of the flight while we have it.
All right, so as you make your way off in that direction, Tavern, you notice that the tunnel continues both to your north and your south. Best of your recollection is that your team has not gone either way.
I'm just going to, I personally going to go north.
Okay, so you're traveling north, I assume at like a normal pace to allow your team to keep up with you, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you travel for about, I'm going to say 3 minutes or so as you're passing through this tunnel that extends fairly far. As you do so, you notice a strange change in the air. You're not sure if this is due to your presence or what exactly it is, but you get this kind of gust of wind and it has this very odd smell. It kind of smells like warm earth and sulfur. You can feel that the air is growing warmer, but how high up are you flying right now, Tavern? Consider
What?
that the tunnel height is about 20 feet at max.
Yeah, so I'm about 15 feet up then.
Okay, so you smell this, but other than that, nothing out of the ordinary. Serena, are you also flying at about the same height? Whoop, we might have lost Serena again.
Sorry, I'm back. Like 10 feet.
Okay, so you're at 10 feet. So similarly then to Tavern, he's a little bit above you, but yeah, you get this strange smell, but other than that, no issue. Rest of the team, again, you guys are all traveling fairly close together. So by the time Tavern and Serena pass overhead, they kind of get this off odor. Very shortly thereafter, the rest of the team walking on the ground does the same. So I will say, those of you on the ground, while the air seems to be getting warmer, you start to feel that your feet are getting very cold.
All right, Adam, I'm going to go ahead and head back to where basically to the best of my ability to where we are right here. Because I know this fly is not going to last much longer, and I'd rather be with the group. You know,
yep. So you're with them right now, right? But yeah, so you're basically saying like, oh, this is almost over, so you're turning around and coming back the way you just came.
Yeah, I'm wondering because you said the ground is getting colder, but also
But remember, you don't know that because you're in the air, so all you feel is the air getting warmer.
Okay, all right.
But as soon as I feel that, I'll point it out because it feels like a strange effect. Like the air is warmer, but our feet are cold.
Yes.
I don't know if I know any kind of phenomenon that would cause that.
So to clarify,
what does that mean?
When you say you point this out, once this occurs, you're stopping. You're saying, "Hey, everybody, my feet are starting to get cold." Is that what you're saying?
She won't say anything, but she'll stop, and I think people would notice that she stops and looks around curiously.
Okay, so as this occurs, then I will need Blixel, Saline, and Gordon. Please all give me Constitution saving throws. All right, so you can feel that there is this like strange effect occurring. Essentially, you're kind of getting like this off taste in your mouth, like you're finding yourself like licking your lips almost, and like just kind of like coughing a bit. It feels like just something's wrong in this area.
If I step here, Adam, does my feet warm up?
So as a reminder, you're not actually where you are. You guys are down that northern tunnel about 3 minutes travel.
Oh, sorry.
Cecilia will wave people back and try to trace her steps back to where the effect started, like trying to get out of it if she can.
Okay, so yeah, you turn and you start making your way back. The two flyers, obviously, you can do so as well. You start going back to, I'm assuming you're not stopping and like, oh, am I still affected? So you're kind of moving pretty quickly to try to make sure whatever this is isn't affecting you. So you guys travel like the 2 or 3 minutes back at this point, and at this point the spell would certainly be ending. So you guys that are floating or flying, you would softly, land on the ground. From here, I would say if you want to move forward and then try to test where exactly it occurs, you could certainly do that, but you're certainly out of it at this point.
Now that I'm out of it, can I do some kind of check to try to figure out what's happening?
Sure, yeah, give me a blind check. This is essentially going to be nature. Based on that check, you're not really sure, Saline. The smell of sulfur, certainly can occur underground because you might hit like a deposit here or there, but the chilling effect has got you really confused. You're not sure why the air would be warm, but the ground would be cold. That seems very unusual.
Yeah, if she smelled sulfur, she would think that maybe we were heading down towards the lava, but that wouldn't explain why the ground is cold and the air is
Yeah.
warm. It would be the other way around. Or everything would be getting hotter. So yeah, she doesn't get it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we didn't see the beast. But while we're here, we're gonna continue marching around, looking around. I'm not sure if I want to go down that area. That area there seems kind of strange, but I guess everything would.
Did it seem like the ground or the elevation was like rising or falling?
No, it seemed pretty flat for the most part.
What's the plan? We proceed.
Yeah, let's pick a different direction though.
I see a tunnel down here.
I guess it's as good as any.
And as Serena walks by, I'll say, "Do you mind if I take Dian's bones?"
Oh, sure, it'd be great if somebody could help carry stuff there.
Just yeah, I'll carry your burdens. I'm here to carry your burdens.
Karina like looks at him weird and slowly walks.
Blixel's going to take out his loot, and he's going to use it to cast invisibility on himself.
Okay. And I'm
You
gonna
guys, we
rely
lost
on,
Blixel.
gonna rely on you, Blixel, to track your spells that come directly from that loot.
Okay.
You're right, Serena. Everyone stop. Where's Blixel?
Blixel, what's up?
I'm right here.
Oh.
I just figured, if we're not fighting that weird thing, being invisible might be handy, so I'm just going to do it right now while I can. I wanted to try out the loot.
Smart move.
I'll still be in the middle. Don't worry.
So based on where I see Serena's token, are you guys traveling down that path?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you guys start traveling down this path, and you notice that the tunnel kind of moves off to your east. So think of it as like going a little bit south, and then it curves to the east, and then it starts curving back to the south. And when this occurs, now you can feel that you are kind of descending. It's not rapid, but it's slowly going down further into the ground. Is it safe to assume you guys are going to continue following this path until you see something of note?
Yeah.
Or experience
Yes.
something
Sure.
strange.
Yeah.
All right, you guys continue traveling this path at maybe 300 feet or so. You guys notice that there is a strange sound, or maybe it's more of like a feeling. And based on that check, Blixel, you start to get like a dampness in the air. Like you get the impression that you might be getting close to water.
It feels watery around here. Everybody, keep your eyes on a swivel.
Hey, with
Great.
the water there, Adam, am I getting any feeling that I need to go for a swim?
Nope, you don't see water. You just Blixel's kind of feeling it in the air, you might say.
Yeah, it was just kind of a joke when I used to want to go swimming and I thought I could swim underwater, breathe underwater, or whatever it was. Yeah.
I understood it, Bill.
Yep.
Hilarious. Good job.
All right, putting you guys here, you find yourself in this area as you continue following the path.
Adam, are these ledges or are these
Rock walls.
okay, thanks.
We're not gonna find it today, boys.
Adam has mercy on us, maybe.
So I'm gonna grab like a copper coin or something and just toss it into the water around here, Adam.
Okay.
Or something like that. Just nothing of worth.
All right, and I'm assuming you're doing this to try to see if you notice any movement.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, so you throw the coin in the water. Go ahead and give me a blind check there, Tavern.
Anybody want to roll my blind checks for me?
You don't see any immediate reaction.
Oh, that means there's definitely something there, let me tell you.
You know, one time a frog ate me in a pond like this, in a cave like this.
All right, I'm going to go around here. I'm going to try to go stealthily, though.
Okay.
Would you like me to give you another check for that?
You can throw me a blind check in case it becomes important. Yeah. Rest of the team, are you trying to also be stealthy?
Yeah, as best as I can.
It's not going to work, but you know.
All right. If you're trying to be
Yeah.
stealthy, please throw me a blind check. Tabard, as you get to there, you notice a bit of growth like lichen and algae on the path just to your south.
Right,
Quick check. Is anybody wearing heavy armor that I need to apply disadvantage?
Yes, me.
Okay, so Gordon, and is that it?
It's medium armor. We've discussed this before. I'm not fat, but you know.
Yeah, I don't have. I have medium armor as well, but it's the scale mail, so it has
Yeah.
disadvantage. Yep.
So both you and Saline that have disadvantage, what I'm hearing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. All right. I'm sorry, Tabard. So yeah, you see this lichen, this algae kind of growth on the ground.
All right, I'm actually going to. Adam, is this here anything that I could spot, or is it just map stuff?
That looks to be like a small stone plinth growing out of the ground.
All right. Will I have any problems just jumping over this, over the algae?
Depends on how far you can jump. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to get a running jump because there's not enough space. Well, yeah, so you can't like run west and then jump south, if that makes sense. You kind of have to run in the same direction. And I think you have to get a running start of 10 feet, right? So from what I'm seeing, there's nowhere there you're going to be able to get a 10-foot run.
Like, so how deep is the water?
What? I'm over here. I'm behind you.
How deep is the water? Did anyone notice?
I can light up a rock and throw it in there.
Sure.
Okay, Adam, I'm gonna drop a light on my shield, and I'm gonna light a rock. I'm assuming I can find a rock.
You certainly can, yeah.
Okay. And
Rocks
I'm
are
gonna
hard
cast.
to come by in caves. I think.
Yes.
That's a level 2 cantrip.
I'm winning. Yeah, I'm gonna upcast my light on the rock and toss it into. I'll get a little closer, but I'll toss up into the water, see how deep it is. That's the intent.
All right, so as the light goes off of you and then the rock is lit up and then you throw it into the water, it does make a decently sized splash. At this point, everybody except for Blixel, you notice a large creature in the water is suddenly illuminated by this light. I'm going to reveal this and just to pop it up on the screen. Or actually, I think I can do it this way. Yes, okay, so once this creature pops up, yeah,
it's
good.
The polar bear stretched out. What?
Good.
It's Dan's
question.
polar bear.
Dan's polar bear has become aquatic.
I'm going to throw the more full version of this into our Discord just so you can see it. But essentially what this looks like is some kind of a strange hybrid of fish and mammal. So think of this as looking like a large fish, but covered in fur of like a polar bear. It is long, perhaps about 8 feet long or so. And it looks like maybe a small orca with like a serpentine neck and a seal-like head.
All right.
Where is it in the water?
So you're noticing this when the light suddenly hits the water. You're noticing it in this area. It's obviously sees the rock, it notices it, but you don't see that it makes any sudden movements.
I will dispel
How
the.
deep down is it?
It's not very deep at that point, so you're assuming when the rock went down, it actually moved to its current position. So right now, maybe your best guess is it's like in 4 feet deep of water.
And now you can't see it anymore because I'm putting light back on my shield.
Okay, so as soon as the light goes away from the rock, right, I would say, so you basically just saw a glimpse of the creature in the water, and then the light goes away, and you don't see it anymore, but you know it's somewhere there.
Did we see the bottom when the light was illuminating, or no?
Yeah, I would say for a brief moment, yeah, you probably saw the bottom there. Gauging its depth is pretty difficult, but Serena, being as close as you were, you think the areas of darker water on the map are probably somewhere about 15, 20 feet deep, and then the areas where it's lighter colored water might only be about 5 feet deep.
Maybe 15 foot deep. I think we found Ian's polar bear.
There's a polar
We're gonna
bear?
jump in and kill it.
I'm concerned about getting dragged in and not being able to get back out.
There's like a fish-like polar bear in here.
Let's
No.
look at the picture.
We gotta clear out this cave, right? We gotta clear out this mine. Does it seem like a beast?
Well, it doesn't seem aggressive. It didn't go after the light rock, but maybe we should just say don't go in here because it could be dangerous.
Could we try
I
to
mean, if we
skirt
can
by?
go. Yeah, let's see if that works.
Adam, this moss type area here, I'm going to get my quarterstaff and kind of see if I can push it around a little bit. I just want to make sure basically that there isn't a whole bunch of like a spray or some sort of poison coming from it.
Okay, so you prod the ground with your quarterstaff. You notice that it's not really like a thick growth, but it's more like an algae. And when you're moving your quarterstaff, you get the impression that that area is very slick. Like even your quarterstaff like is slipping when you're trying to prod the ground.
All right. Seeing that, I'm going to look at the moss. I want to kind of basically pay more attention to it. Do I get the impression that anything may have slipped on it more recently, other than my quarterstaff, and maybe fell into the water or something?
Line check, please, Tavert, as you try to ascertain that information. There's no signs of anything large doing that. It may be something small, perhaps, but nothing that leaves like any kind of an indentation in the algae.
All right. Seeing that, I'm actually going to walk back because none of my party members are here, and so I'm not sure what their intent will be.
Serena is really close to you. You could say she's almost on top of you.
Oh, there she is. All right.
Oh, bumped into you.
Well, I want to hug the wall, Adam, and I want to go through here slowly.
Okay, go through the algae. So when you say go slowly, I'm assuming you're being very careful. You're like raising 1 foot and then okay. So I will say you definitely notice that it is slick. Being that you're not in combat and you chose to go very slow, you don't have to make any kind of checks. But you think if you were trying to move through here quickly, like in initiative order or just running for whatever reason, you might slip.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the rest of the group sees that, and I'm going to say, go slow, it's slippery there.
I'll also go.
Yes, as you get a bit closer there, you notice a collection of mushrooms growing out of this, what looks almost like a collection of fungus and other mushrooms of some kind.
Does it look like the mushrooms that somebody pulled a green card on and got some blessing, or does it look like different type of mushrooms?
It's hard to say. You could always eat random mushrooms without cards and see what happens.
No, don't do that.
Oh,
Celine, can I eat these?
FNG
Celine
gets to eat it.
very slowly goes over the moss.
And I'm going to assume you're all moving slowly, obviously, because you've been alerted of this.
I inspect the mushrooms to see if I recognize them.
Okay, line check, Saline. The nature's not with you today for some reason,
Apparently not.
Saline. I will say you recognize them as mushrooms that grow in caves and likely are just a food source for various things in caves, but you don't know what they're called or if they have any other properties.
They might be a food source for something, but I wouldn't recommend trying it out. I'm not sure what these are. Just because something else can eat them doesn't mean that humanoids and human adjacent people can.
Do you see any bite marks in them? I didn't take a look at them.
So based on you guys' light and your dark vision that you can see, I will say you now can notice movement in the water as it seems as though something is moving like this and then goes into deeper water and you lose sight of it.
How are we going to know what these mushrooms are if I don't eat them?
Yeah, but
We could
there's
take a
someone
sample.
there's something in the water, guys.
Yeah, we know, we saw it.
Yeah, I told you. It's a polar bear. I think it's Dean's.
Celine is gonna back away from the ledge as far as she can, though, or from the water's edge.
You think it's aggressive?
It's following the light, and it's got the face of a bear.
Where was the
So
other
we
one
should
at,
throw.
Adam? You said that when he threw the rock, we saw it. Where was that creature at the time?
The first time it was spotted, it was in this area here.
Okay, all right, thank you. Adam,
Gordon, turn off your light. You
I'm
can
gonna
hold
go-
Blixel's hand.
I'd rather know where the creature is, I think.
I'm invisible. Don't try to hold my hand.
If everyone's okay with it, I want to pick up a rock and throw it in the water and try to turn his attention away from us, you know?
Sounds like you're trying to throw it far away.
Give it a
I might-
good throw.
I might hand it to someone if Serena will come back.
Well, I don't want to hit it.
My little noodle arms might not. But if I can find a pebble or something, I'll light it up and hand it to her to toss it in the water. See if we can just keep an eye on the creature. I don't necessarily want to fight it, but I would like to know where it is.
I see. So you're casting light on a rock and trying to throw it in the water.
I'm casting a light on a rock and handing it to Serena to throw into the water.
Okay. So Serena, you're handed a glowing rock. Where are you trying to throw it, if anywhere?
Who saw it and where was it?
It was coming down the path. Calling it a pathway seems weird, but the pond towards us, and it dove down into deeper water in the middle there. Somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Then I'll throw the rock like over here.
Okay. Throw me just a athletics check, I'm going to say. You can throw that publicly.
And try not to hit Blixel in the head, even though we don't know where he is.
All right, you throw it and you manage to land it right where you wanted to. You see that it splashes in the water. You don't see anything lit up there. So basically the rock lands like here-ish. And when it does, this area is kind of lit up, but you don't spot anything there.
Sorry, I think it threw far away, but I didn't want to attract it over here.
It was
That's
moving
alright.
in this area, but that's okay. Maybe it'd go after the light, you know?
I will not drop concentration on the. Well, I guess it's not concentration, but I'll keep it lit up.
Guys, this thing doesn't go all the way around. Dead end. Do we want to jump across the water?
Sorry, what?
There's a dead end up here. Do we want to jump across the water?
Is there anywhere else to go? I mean, are we just gonna...
Yeah, I mean, technically the water keeps going. We should have brought a boat. Oh wait, I have a boat.
You can't have
Do
a
we want to
boat.
ride it?
Come on now.
But I do have a boat.
What kind of a boat
I
have you
have
been lugging around this whole time?
It's on a
Got
rope.
a robe of
a
useful items.
robe.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a friggin' canoe or something. Like, no. You do not have a canoe this whole time.
I have a 12-foot long rowboat or a 24-foot long wooden ladder. Which I think either would get us across here.
I think we can just jump this. It's only 8 feet.
Celine had me throw a rock.
Yeah, but there's nothing over on the other side to go to. I don't know what may be down south, though.
Right. So just as a reminder, with your patches, they're patches on the robe, so they don't become real until you peel them off.
Right.
Okay.
I'd have to conjure it, guys. I don't know how long that takes. I haven't used this thing yet. Well, what do you want to do?
Looking at this corner, the only way I see is across to the east, I think. Or is there another spot we can get to down below?
Right, but there's nothing up here to go to, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So if we did get over there, that we'd run into the same situation. I don't know if there's anything down south, though. It seems like there's a new area. This is just exciting for me. I've never been in an area like this before. Adam, I'm going to take a look in the water to see if maybe we spot any other creatures there.
Okay. Blind check here, Tavern, as you host up here for a moment and look very carefully in that area. You don't see anything in the area.
That means there's definitely something there, guys. Just kidding.
If I wait here long enough, Celine will tell me what to do.
Well, I mean, it depends on how far we think the next path goes. If you think you can jump it, I mean, one person could jump it. I don't think I can jump it, but I could use magic to get across. Or I'm just concerned that as soon as someone touches the water, we've had that experience before. Serpent wind fucked things up for everyone. And, all hell. So
Adam, could I get a 10-foot running jump from where I am to jump down to this square?
I mean, it would be tight, is what I would say. Like barely 10 feet, and you're walking across like the uneven edge. So yes, but there's still a chance you could slip, is how I will say. It looks really obvious to you that there's a possibility that could happen.
I'm willing to risk it.
Okay, so your intention is to try to run in this general vicinity and then land like here?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to say like you're basically... So you're jumping somewhere between 10 and 15 feet total. Do you have enough strength to make that?
I got 13 strength.
Okay, so I feel like the most you can jump is your strength score, if I remember correctly. Let me do a quick double check. So I guess the way I would say this, Blixel, is you can certainly try. If you are successful in this, you would be really close to the other side. And you might be able to grab onto something, but your feet might be like hitting the water as you try to pull yourself up.
Are you going to do it?
I mean, if I can't do it, without touching the water, I'm not gonna try. So
Yeah, you get the impression based on, you've jumped around before, you kind of got an idea of like what your, max jump is, you might say, and you feel like you're coming up a couple of feet short.
I feel like with the right amount of spiritual guidance, somebody should be able to make it. Brian winks.
I hear you, but then that person is alone, and it would be difficult for the rest of us to get over there without alerting the creature in the water, and then we might be fighting a battle on two fronts.
why don't we take that big ladder out and put it across, and then we just walk across the ladder?
Do we have an angle to do that? Will that work?
12-foot ladder, right?
24 foot.
Oh,
Is there any place I can get more of these patches after I use them up?
right. There's like a magical patch shop. You just like, I'll take that. One of those.
Magical seamstress.
I mean, I think if we use them, we use them. But, it's either that or we turn 'em around and just leave this place.
I'd like to just jump it just to see what I can see from there.
Okay.
And if we need to use a ladder for everybody to get over here quick, I'll do it right away.
All right, so
Hey,
same
sir.
risks that I explained to Blixel. I assume your strength is 15 or more, right?
That's correct.
Serena, you got this.
Okay, so how this will work then is this will count as a long jump. So give me a athletics check as you run and try to do that.
Big money, big money.
Wait, what do I do with guidance?
So remember our house rule
that's
for
right there.
guidance.
It's a
not
reaction.
exactly. Right. So you notice it says which you take in response to you or an ally within 10 feet of you failing an ability check. So it doesn't come into play quite yet.
Right, but I'm praying as you do it. That's what you imagine. Like, come on, you could do this.
Okay, so that is actually enough. So you are able to get the running jump and you leap over to here. As you do so, you kind of land a little bit wobbly. You realize there's not as much lichen or algae here, but there's a little bit. So you kind of land on it. Your foot slips a little bit, but you manage to maintain yourself in that space.
So far, I'm seeing more of the same, guys.
Does
Maybe
it
we
end?
Maybe we do need the canoe. What else are you gonna use it for?
What if the polar bear doesn't like it?
Then we kill the polar bear. Then we have the boat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different places we could go here, guys. But it all just looks the same as what we've seen so far. Some ledges.
Yeah, so maybe we go back and take a different direction.
Just check to make sure there's no tunnel out of here. But if not, we'll just go back.
Adam, I'm assuming this is fresh water?
You presume so, yeah. Okay, from
What
there,
am I-
Serena, as you're looking to your southwest through this narrow angle of vision, you notice what looks to be a constructed wooden gate of some kind, and it looks like it has spears embedded in it, pointed in your direction.
What? But it's like, is it blocking like into the water, like the polar bear couldn't swim through there type of thing?
It certainly looks like it creates at least some kind of blockage. Whether the polar bear, as you call it, could get through there or not, certainly not without breaking through the thing.
But yet the spears are pointed outward.
They're pointed
Not downward.
towards you, which means if something came toward, well, I mean, I guess they're somewhat downward, right? There's like a row of them, and they're pointed towards you, meaning anything coming from the north would have to deal with those spears if it rushed at this palisade.
Is there any current in the water, like going in any particular direction?
Give me a blind check as you look at the water to see if you can gauge that. It's certainly nothing obvious.
Do I still have guidance on me?
No, guidance doesn't work that way. And again, based on our house rules, only works within 10 feet. Not that you can tell. It looks mostly still.
Well, I described the gate to the folks. I say there's at least 2 different ways to go. One of the ways looks like it might split into 2 different ways. I can't tell. And one of the ways has this humanoid-made gate.
Civilization. Huh, interesting.
Does it look like an Orog construction?
If I come back to this area where I have the best view of it, am I able to?
I mean, that would be really difficult to determine. 60 feet away, know who constructed the gate or what species. I'm going to say no. You can't roll on that.
Can I tell if it looks rudimentary versus
yes,
highly sophisticated?
That I will give you. It does look rudimentary. Not that it's like going to fall apart, but it certainly doesn't look well crafted and welded and all that kind of thing.
It's goblin style. Just kidding. I don't know who made it, but it looks not super fancy.
All right. At this point, Tabard and Gordon, being so close to the water, you notice a large shape moving through the water, and you're pretty sure this is the same creature you spotted before. It seems to be quite close to you at this point. Obviously, still underneath the water.
Okay.
Can we name him?
I'm trying to get back from the ledge. I don't know where to go. He's here.
I'm going to stay up against the wall, Adam, and I'm going to just kind of move in this over here.
Okay.
And I'm going to just kind of I'm going to point down to the into the water. Hopefully, the other folks can see it.
Guys, look. Hey, it's the bear. Look.
Hey, that creature's down there.
How about Polly?
We should release it by raising the gate.
Serena, where's this going?
I think it dove back down into the deep, I presume.
That does seem likely, Serena, as you no longer see it.
Can you raise that gate?
No, the pathway doesn't go all the way up to it. The waterway that goes up to the gate is like really narrow. Like one person size.
You're one person.
Oh, you want me to go swimming with Polly?
I think that's probably unsafe.
I
There's
do
no
kind of
way.
want to make friends with him, though. Is anybody good at making friends with animals? I'm only good at
I'm a
killing them.
charmer.
I can do something. And I guess, does it seem like it would be able to hear Blixel if it was, even though it's underwater?
Well, how I will answer that one is you guys have been shouting across the water towards each other and, yelling out, hey, this is what I see and so forth. And it hasn't seemed to have reacted.
We're clearly his friend.
Poor Polly can't hear us.
We're his friend up until someone falls in.
Well, not much else I can do here. I can't even keep exploring. I'd have to do another jump across here. So, what are you guys thinking? What do you think Polly lives off of?
want to know what that gate is for. There's probably something behind it.
It's giving me SeaWorld vibes in here. I mean, considering the spikes are pointing outward, either they're trying to keep Polly in or they're ready to attack us.
No. Is there a walkway to the gate, or is it the only way through the
Oh,
gate is through the water?
correct.
No. Does it look climbable? How tall is it?
You'd have to deal with the spears, Serena, but potentially you could, get some leverage, get your foot in there somewhere, and then climb over it.
It seems to
But that
me.
would only be if we got in the water. Like, there's no ledges on either side of it. I
Oh,
just double
okay.
checked.
Okay.
She'll say, not necessarily to Serena since she's far away, but she'll say to the people around her, it seems like the gate is intended to be the barrier against whatever this creature is. Perhaps this is some kind of freshwater reservoir that the Orogs use, but it was unsafe to draw from it without blocking it off for the creature to get to them. So they built the gate, and then somehow the water filters through to the other side, and they use it as a source of water such that they don't have to leave the cave. That is my hypothesis.
Yeah, it sounds reasonable.
Well, I got a little bit of a plan. It may end up with it trying to kill us all, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, do share.
Well, with this loot, I can make animals friendly to us.
Normal
or
animals
to
or
me.
crazy looking polar bear animals?
Yeah, but he's already. I mean, he's not doing anything harmful to us.
Yeah. Do you think we could just leave him here when the gold mine comes?
Sure seems that way.
I mean, I don't see why not. It doesn't seem like it. If it could leave, it would have investigated the rocks falling into its water. It might have poked its head out. It might have poked its head above water to see what was dropping down. But since it didn't do that, I'm not so sure it can travel on land. Or if it can, it would be very slow. Like,
Okay. I mean, we could just leave it and just go elsewhere then, if you guys don't want to see what's beyond the gate.
I suspect Orogs are beyond the gate.
Well, we got to kill all those Orogs. Or at least drive them out of this place. We can't have them here when the mine's here.
That sounds fine.
I'm all for dealing with this gate, but that means we have to deal with the pulley first. And we could do that. I know. You tell me there's a chance we could do that.
All right. Well, it's up to you. If you guys want me to try to do this, I'm fine doing it. Otherwise, I say let's move out of here.
I'm a bit nervous about provoking a potential fight while the Grell is still behind us. It didn't work out for us the last time.
The Grell's not here.
For now, but it might return to its nest at a later time, such as when we're trying to leave after we've exhausted all our resources.
Classic.
All right. Well, let's head out.
All right, Serena, you got this. Nice jump back, okay?
Okay. Gonna get a running start.
What I will say, Serena, is there's not 10 feet in a straight line to get a running start here.
Even here?
Nope, because if you move from that space to the northwest, that's only 5 feet.
What if I do a running curved start?
Unless you've got some crazy walk on walls ability that I don't know about, then no.
Sorry, so what are the jumping rules in that case?
So if you don't have a 10-foot head start to jump, you can only jump half your strength. So you're jumping about 8 feet, which means you're going to come up far short of the other side.
Is there any way you could shimmy around this rock here and get to this side, or no?
Could certainly try.
Like cling to the rock with 1 foot on either side.
Yeah, is it like climbable or something?
I wouldn't call it climbable, but I get what you're saying. You're trying to like sidle around. It's possible. It's going to come down to a check, of course.
Well, I guess that check sounds more likely to succeed than jumping, standing still. So let's do it. What am I checking?
All right, so you throw me a blind check here, Serena. Obviously, you're going to have 2 hands to do this. So my assumption is Shipwrecker is on your back. You're using your feet trying to get some kind of purchase and then grabbing with your hands on this jagged rock wall and trying to essentially sidle around to the north.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I had anything that I could like dig into the rock, but aside from your average dart or javelin, I don't really have anything made for that, so I will give it a go.
All right, blind check. Okay, so as you start trying to sidle around this, she is within 10 feet, so go ahead. You do fail this check, Serena. Go ahead and roll a d4. That'll get you to an 11 total, I'll just tell you, which unfortunately is not enough. Now, put a marker or something, Gordon, because now she can't benefit from this
Right.
until a long rest. Okay, so
I thought
essentially...
it was only if it changed the result.
Oh, is that what it said? Double check the wording for me, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, I will. I'll do it right now.
Okay, appreciate that. All right, so basically you get to hear Serena, and as you're climbing, you don't fall.
Sorry, that
but,
was mine.
Yeah, no worries. You don't totally fall off the wall, but your feet kind of dangle into the water as you lose your footing here. It kind of hits the water, and as this occurs, you're noticing movement in the water right away. And we're about at the end of our session time here, folks. So I think that's where we'll go ahead and hang this up rather than starting and not really be able to get into much. But I will say you notice movement to your south. And let me go ahead and throw a quick check. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's all. That's the only thing that's noticed is that movement to the south. So, okay, folks, we are at the end of our session time, so we'll go ahead and hang it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. Obviously, a lot of changes back in the capital, and we will see what comes of this further exploration underneath the Stone Crown Mountains when we meet again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Awesome. Good job,
Peace
guys.
out, guys.
That y'all.
Thanks, Ed.